My name is Julius Malombe. I'm the Governor of Kitui County, and I'll request my members to introduce themselves, starting with the gentleman on my right, the lady on my left, the lady on my right, and we continue like that. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, members of the Senate, with your permission, Your Excellency, my name is Peter Kilonzo. I am the Minister in charge of Finance, Economic Planning, and Revenue Management. Thank you.
Through the Chair, the Senate members, and all protocols observed, through Your Excellency, my name is Rose Mutuku. I'm the CCM member in charge of Trade, Industry, MSMEs, Innovation, and Cooperatives, Kitui County. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Michael Utisa Kali, Chief Officer in charge of Trade, Industry, SMEs, and County Investment Zones.
Good morning, Chair and honorable members. Through our Governor, my name is Timothy Chalo, the County Solicitor.
Good morning, Chair and honorable members, and through His Excellency the Governor, my name is Kennedy Mwendwa, Chief Officer in charge of Vocational Training Centers and Homecraft Centers.
Honorable Senators, Governor, all members hearing, with permission of the Chair, my name is Grace Mutua. I'm the Chairperson, KICOTEC Board of Directors.
Honorable Chair, my name is Fernandez Muli. I'm Director in charge of Industry and Investment, Ministry of Trade.
Honorable Chair, all protocols observed. My name is Peter Yoma, the Acting CEO for KICOTEC.
Honorable Chair, through our Governor, all protocols observed. I'm the Chair Lady Siongila Polytechnic. Thank you.
Honorable Chair, all senators and our governor, my name is Lance Kai, the manager of Siongela Vocational Training Center.
Chair, my name is Gabriel Monyao, Kitui County Assembly, Chairman, Public Investments and Accounts. Thank you.
Very well, karibu sana. You are alone or we are others are there?
Yes, Chair. I have come with the other 3 members and a clerk, but they are out there. They've not got a space to sit.
They can come and sit here. Meanwhile.
Okay.
Yeah. Mwambie wakuje hapo. You can allow one of the MCS to take that seat. We apologize for the space limitation. So those who have taken seats, you can proceed to introduce yourself. Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. as I said earlier, I am Gabriel Munyao, the chairperson.
Chair, I'm David Masak Munyao, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Honorable Paul Maluki, member of the committee.
Through the chair, my name is Honorable Jeremiah Mutua, a member of this committee.
I'm Jacob Kimanzi, Clerk Assistant Clerking the Committee on Public Investments and Accounts.
Karibuni sana waheshimiwa, County Assembly. I think it was very important for you to come. Honorable members, the meeting today is a continuation meeting of the last meeting we had when we are looking at the audited reports for KICOTEC and other enterprises in Kitui County. And because we had a lot of issues that was raised in KICOTEC, and in the wisdom of the committee, we made a decision that we summon the former governor, Charity Ngilu, and all the officers who were involved in this project, including the board, so that they can shed light on some of the issues that the committee had concerns. And I'm happy that, Governor, you have appeared with your team as you were directed. The meeting was not essentially yours today, but you were to appear to accompany your former governor. I cannot see the key witness in this room today. I'm hoping that before we end the meeting, she will appear. The second issue, we also invited the EACC to come and shed light on this matter, and the EACC have come, and they have a report which they will be presenting to us. And then lastly, there are a few clarifications that we had requested the governor to come and clarify. This KICOTEC, some information that, so because the key witness is not here, by the time we finish, we are about to if she doesn't appear, I'm going to make a further direction. Give us a brief on the clarification that members wanted. There were 4 issues. The first issue was information on the amount injected in Kitui County Textile Center by the county government of Kitui at the onset of the project. The second clarification was the transfers made by the county government of Kitui to Kitui County Textile Center for the financial years 2019-2020, 2020-2021, and 2021-2022. And thirdly, financial performance report of Kitui County Textile Center since inception to date, clearly indicating the profits and losses made. And lastly, the ownership status of the land occupied by Kitui County Textile Center. Those were the 4 clarifications. The governor did not have that information then, so we said that on this day, he can come with this information. So, Governor, the floor is yours. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you correctly indicated, when we appeared here last, that is the county government of Kitui, which I currently lead as governor, on 28th of August, the Senate requested that we come back on a date which you were to advise us. And you did advise us to come back. And in the last letter which you sent to us to appear, you requested us to respond or to provide information relating to the 4 issues which you have just enumerated. Number 1 being the amount of funds provided to the Kitui County Textile Center by the county government of Kitui at the start of the center. And we have submitted a report to you, Mr. Chairman, and other honorable senators in relation to that. And if I may just read the report you may be having as well, particularly for the benefit of those who don't have it, is during financial year 2018, 2019, 2018, 2020, the amount injected was 166,219,549 shillings. And in the year 2020, 2021, the amount injected was 2,388,540, and the total is 168,608,089. So that is our first response. The second question is the transfers made by the Kitui County government to the Kitui County Textile Center for financial years 2019, 2020, 2020, 2021, and 2021, 2022. Since the operationalization of KICOTEC as a county corporation, no direct cash transfers were made by the county government of Kitui to the entity. And this, according to the report in front of me, this is confirmed by a review of the entity's 2 bank accounts at Equity Bank, whose details are given below. And there are some details there which have been given on this page, and I would like this to be elaborated a little bit more by either the acting CEO to elaborate on this particular response. Are you able to do that when acting CEO? That there were no transfers by the county government of Kitui?
A point of order, Chair.
Yeah.
Just quickly through
What's
you.
your point of order?
Yeah, I wanted if we could get clarity from you, Governor. The last time the gentleman was here, his term was almost expiring. So would you advise the committee his current position?
Yeah, his current position, we extended the contract for 3 months. We extended the contract for 3 months. Reason is because if he exited, the entity would have been left without an acting CEO and with nobody, because we had only him as acting CEO and another person acting head of HRM, and therefore it meant we just leave the place like that, yet you are to summon us here, and then we may not be able, perhaps, to respond to some of the issues. So we made that decision. The board did, actually.
Okay, all
As
right.
per good corporate governance, is
All
a
right.
board which may, but I'm aware of it.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's a valid explanation. You can proceed, CEO.
Through the chair, I'm going to respond on what our His Excellency the Governor has said about the funds transfer from the county government to KICOTEC. I would confirm that there were no direct funds transfer from county government to KICOTEC, and this is confirmed by we attached the bank statement for KICOTEC, of which KICOTEC has 2 bank accounts. The revenue account, which is the account KICOTEC receives money from its customers, and the operation account, which is the account used by KICOTEC when it is making payments to the relevant suppliers. So on that, we went to the bank and we printed all the bank statements and attached on this report. As of since the year 2019 up to the year 2022. So the bank statement are showing there were no funds transfer which were transferred from the county government. Thank you.
I think honorable members want to raise issues. I will not wait until we finish the 4 issues. Maybe the first 2 issues, let's deal with them. We exhaust and then we go to the other 2 issues. The first issue and the second issue. But before I allow honorable members to come in, let me allow the auditor to make a comment on the response.
Yes, Chair, thank you so much. I wish to confirm that this response has not been provided for audit verification, and therefore I may not be able to make much comment on it, Chair, because the auditors were not provided with an opportunity to verify the responses given. However, I can confirm that the financial statements as provided are what from the extracts that were audited by the Auditor General. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. So, honorable members, let's start with the Senator.
Chairman, just before the honorable members come in, that response has some other attachments, which shows there were allocations, budgetary allocations to KICOTEC for the period 2017-2018 to 2021-2022. And the list is attached there, 2017-2018 through supplementary budget 3. They were allocated 100 million Kenya shillings. Number 2, 2018-2019, they were allocated 108 million, plus another 5 million, plus another 12 million, and all of them, they have some subheadings under which they were allocated. For example, the 108 million was for special purchase of specialized plant, in brackets cereals and pulses, processing machines, ballast crushers, interlocking brick machines, making machines and other machines as per this record. And then the 5 million is various training and on entrepreneurship development. Then the 12 million is contractual employees, that's how it's written. And then another 1 million for electricity, including bills for crusher and the KICOTEC, as indicated here. And the other one is purchase of uniforms and clothing materials, some 53 million Kenya shillings. During financial year 2019-2020 through supplementary budget 2, they were allocated 55 million for a whole range of things, including what was referred to in the budget as other capital grants and transfers: mosquito net making machine, computerized face mask making machine, digital printer, screen printing machine, seal machines, and the list goes on that way. And then the same year, some 10 million, 500 was allocated, and it is shown it was for advertising, awareness, and publicity campaigns and branding of county products, e.g. honey, ballast, KICOTEC, and hospital products, as per this record. And then the other one is various training on entrepreneurship development, 4.29 million. And then during FY 2020-2021, via supplementary budget 2, they were allocated 45,331,000 for purchase of specialized plant, equipment, and machinery. And the total given there is 395,157,334. So that response, the way that query and the response should be taken jointly that way.
So that is for issue number 1 and issue number 2?
Yes.
Okay, so we open the floor for honorable members. Maybe we can start with myself. Just a clarity on issue number 1, where you have said that the amount injected at the start of the center, 2018-2019 to 2019-2020, was 166 million. And then 2022 or 2020-2021 is 2.3 million. So in total, it comes to 168 million. But in your response to the second issue, you have stated that there was no direct cash transfer made by the county government of Kitui to the entity for the period 2019-2020 and 2020-2021 and 2021-2022. So I just want a clarity on those two issues. It's a bit confusing, because on this other one you say 168 million was made, but on this other one there is no cash transfer. So just clarify that.
I will request the acting CEO to respond, but I would like to explain as follows. If you look at the first query, is the amount of funds provided to the Kitui County Textile. My understanding is this money actually was provided. How it was provided, you will need details from those who are there, how it was provided, because this is what the record is showing. Because on the other hand, and I quite agree that it would be confusing when you are told nothing went through the bank. Was it money spent on their behalf through the department? That's a question which we have asked, and maybe we'll get clarification when we are here. And then the other one, as I said, question number 2, which the acting CEO has partly helped in responding to, is there are no direct transfers. In other words, a transfer from the account of the county government to the account of KICOTEC, particularly in the bank they were running at equity. Yet, as I read later, if you look at the budget of the county, in particular the supplementary budget, because all these other money amounting to 395 million was provided during supplementary budget. So how it was treated. And since we have everybody around the table other than the person who was governor then, I think we can all benefit from clarification of how all this was done. But we can start with maybe the acting CEO to shed a bit of light on that a little bit confusing issue. Before maybe members come in.
Governor, I think you have explained. I don't know what the members feel. It looks like that's a substantial issue that should have been handled by the key witness.
Cost. And that is exactly what is shown on our financial statements, which were audited by the Office of the Auditor General. Thank you.
You are opening another can of worms, because you are saying that liquid cash was not transferred, but buildings were constructed, equipment were provided
without money being given to KICOTEC. What are you telling this committee? You make us look bad. You make us look as people who don't know what in a lot of trouble. Chair, thank you.
You know, the governor was very careful in his statement. He said you can attempt to respond to it. Because he knows the people. He knows the people who are supposed to answer that. The main witness is not here. So, gentlemen, if you are not able to respond to that, tell the committee I am not able. Don't try to take us in circles. We understand. Yes.
Yeah, please. Sorry about that. You see, when you look at Annex 1, if you have it, if you have Annex 1, there's a county government of Kitui allocations to KICOTEC for the period 2017 to 2022. And you see in there all manner of things, all manner of things jumbled up, There is also some ballast crusher in there. Don't forget that the title is allocation to KICOTEC. And I'm wondering whether KICOTEC is the one that procured the ballast crusher. You see there mango value addition machines, whether they are also part of KICOTEC. Milk processing is part of that. Specialized plant, there are a lot of things jumbled up under KICOTEC. And then the amount, Chair, if you are keen, the total amount is 395 million. So then you ask yourself, so now, 395, is it additional to 168 million? Or is 168 million part of the 395? What is this? Because the amount there, when you go down, the amount there is 395 million Kenya shillings. The amount is closed, which on record again cannot be traced through the banks, is 168 million. What are we dealing with here?
Yes, proceed, CEO.
Okay. Through the chair, I would actually agree with our honorable senator, because I'm basing on the records I found in KICOTEC, of which that is why I've mentioned the financial statement, because if you look at it, the funds, the 168 million, it is just a figure in our financial statement, but these funds, initially KICOTEC was a department in the county government. So that is where the 168 million was injected from. So I would say
from where? Finish your English. From
the Minister of Trade.
Which county?
Kitui County.
So the monies came from the county?
Yes.
through the former governor, Charity Ngilu.
Yes.
Wacha kutapatapa na maneno, complete your sentences. I'm very keen with English and Swahili. Proceed.
So basically that is what I would say. The 168 million, I don't have the true facts of the amount injected, but according to the records which I found in KICOTEC, it was showing the 168 million was the money which was injected in KICOTEC in form of machinery, building, and construction. But I'm not 100% sure about it.
Chair.
Are you still saying that the money went through your bank transactions?
No, sir.
Where did you get the money?
How did you get the 168 from the county? Pesa ilitoka aje katika kaunti ya Kitui ikaingia katika hii kampuni ya KICOTEC?
I'm saying the purchase of the machinery, the construction of the buildings was being initiated at the Ministry of Trade when KICOTEC was a department in the Ministry of Trade. So what we received in KICOTEC was a summary, was in form of a report showing 168 million was injected in KICOTEC to purchase those machines.
Okay, Chair, on the same floor, do you have the former CC Trade? CCU.
I don't know whether they're here, but we have your
honorable members.
With your permission,
Yeah.
Chair. Since the board, which was there then, is here, since those who are chief officers then in finance are here, perhaps they should also help in throwing some light.
We are coming to them, Governor.
Okay,
let us deal with this guy kidogo too, but we are coming to them. Quickly, Chair, I wanted through you, quickly on the same, the Chair has asked you a simple question. How did then the 2 million, how was it added? How did these more funds come? According to what you're trying to tell the committee, according to you don't know where money came from, but you just know the equipment, machinery, raw materials were just there. So you are just told, come in, this is your office, continue working. Be on record, don't nod your head. Press say yes or no.
Yes, the Honorable.
Thank you. I wanted quickly, although that question is still not exhausted, I want you to go to Annex 3, where we have the bank statement for equity.
No, that one, wait. We are coming to that. Let's move systematically.
Okay,
we'll come to that.
Chair, it's just paining me so much.
Senator, before you continue,
yeah.
The witnesses who are to accompany the former governor, I'm not going to allow you to chip in. I can see you are raising your hands. We are not going to allow you to chip in because your substantive witness is not here. I will give further direction on that. The issues that we are now dealing with is the clarifications upon our last meeting that we required the governor to tell us more. And the governor has given the report. So it is not yours to respond to. I will give direction on how we are going to handle that bit of Gilu and the former board members of KICOTEC. So this one, we are just dealing with the clarifications. We asked the governor to attempt to give us those clarifications. So if you are the witness who was to accompany Madam Gilu, you are not supposed to respond. And number two, the rules of this committee is that it is the governor who directs the particular officer to respond to. So please don't raise your hand unless the governor tells you to respond to a matter. Proceed.
Okay, well noted, Chair, but I think we can internally analyze that decision because these key witnesses play a very key role. Because I'm thinking and I'm foreseeing your future, your later decision of the main witness, whereby you might issue summons of arrest. And since the other witnesses are here before this committee, it would be fair and prudent, because all of them have appeared, to be able to shed light. Back on the same question, Senator Wambua talked about the 395. This is information that it is not from Senate. It is information from the county. Are you in a position to explain the additional top-up of the 395 less 168? They're over 200 million. That is in your Annex 2, which talks about still purchase of equipments which have no names. CEO, through the governor.
No, madam.
Okay. No, is not in a position to explain hiyo pesa ya juu ya milioni zaidi ya 200 from the 395 million, from 168 less 395. He's not able to explain how these funds, you know, in form of the assets found themselves to KICOTEC. Kwa hivyo wewe ulikuwa unaletewa tu machines na raw materials. Unaendelea kufanya kazi.
Through the chair, what happened when I joined KICOTEC?
Which year?
In September 2021.
Correct.
Basing on the financial statements which were previously prepared, the records were showing 168 million was injected to KICOTEC in form of assets. So basically, my argument is based on that report, which I found in KICOTEC when I joined it.
Chair, allow me to help this one, Peter.
Yeah, maybe before you come in, Senior Senator, the legal officer has an issue to raise. Please proceed.
Through the chair, maybe we can just make a clarification. When the summons were issued, we issued to each of the former board members, as well as the former governor. So I believe, and in the wordings of the summons, each of the board members were invited or summoned to appear before the committee and give their evidence in relation to the Auditor General reports that the committee is currently considered. Maybe that may be considered as you consider your ruling.
So you are advising that the witnesses who are here can respond to the issues members are raising individually.
Yes, in the context of the summons that each of them received, they were summoned to appear to respond to issues arising from the Auditor General reports, which the committees can, yes, each of them was invited, summoned to give that evidence.
Chair, just to echo the legal team, the gentleman acting CEO claims he came to office in 2021. So this other ulabalu that we are, this other shenanigans, according to him, he's not familiar. So the best people who can be able to assist this committee are the board members who are seated there, the former chairperson, and any other CC who was a member of CC at that particular time.
Very
Chair.
well. We have a gentleman called Ben Jackson, who was the CEO. Who is Ben Jackson?
Exactly. Now that is the man to tell us where the 168.
So now come and take this seat here. Kuja ukae karibu kwa hiyo kiti yake.
Yes.
And the other board members, you should be ready to respond to issues members are raising. The board chairperson, Patrick Wambua. Can we have space created for him? Can we have space created for him on this side?
Yes, actually give them next to the governor, CC. You thought wise. You know, ladies are good in leadership. Wacha wakae hapo karibu na governor. Just swap with them.
One of the honorable members can swap with the chair.
Yes.
One of the honorable members, just swap, please. So the chair, come here. But as the legal officer said, you are responding to the issues individually. You are not responding on behalf of Honorable Charity Ngilu. You have been summoned individually. So you are responding to the issues individually. So, honorable members, gentleman Ben, I hope you heard the questions we raised, the questions Senator Wambua raised, and the question I've raised, and the question members have raised. Can you tell us about these 168 million shillings?
Thank you, Chair and the honorable members. I'll confirm that I don't have a substantive answer to that particular question because those are issues that, according to me, are history. I joined KICOTEC in 2021. I didn't find substantive records and support documentation of these assets worth 168 million. According to me, 168 million was a mirage, and the information that I got is that KICOTEC that time was a department under Minister of Trade. So money came from the county government to the Minister of Trade. How those assets were purchased, I can't tell because there were no records. There was no asset register for those assets when I joined KICOTEC in May 2021. So in this case, I'm not in a position to authentically explain issues of 168 million because the only thing I could lie with is what was in the bank statement. Thank you.
Yeah.
Senator Wambua.
You know, Chair, I'm very happy with that response. And you know, Chair, I'm just going to really request members, including myself. This is a lot of money that could have been lost. And let's just focus on where this money, let's just follow this money and try to get where this money is, so that, and we are not even interested in any side shows, that we are not interested at all. So in your opinion, former CEO, who do you think has the answer to the question that we are asking?
Use the mic.
Thank you very much, Senator. I think my letter of invitation is talking of a CEO. I'm not a CEO. The persons who are in the best position of answering those questions, number one, is the former acting CEO whom I inherited the office from, Georgina Musembi. The second people who can answer this question with authority and give evidence is a board that I found there. The third party that can answer these questions very well is the former chief officers who are here, and I'm lucky CEO Kadi is here, I'm lucky CEO Modoka is here. So those are the people who can give a clear history of exactly what happened and in this room, but the former CEO who was here at that particular time is not here. Thank you.
So who is this, you said who, Mudembi?
Former CEO Georgina Musembi.
Yes. Where is she here? She's not here. So I think the clerk, you can note that name. We have the chairperson of KICOTEC is here. Former chairperson. Pardon? Tell us when you got into office. Was it 2018 or when?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Mr. Patrick, as I said earlier. I was appointed as the chairperson of the board on January 29th, 2020, and we found the KICOTEC was already in existence because, as many of us have said, it was a department in the Ministry of Trade. So I was appointed as the chairperson, and this is the figure that was added over to us as the board, what we inherited, the assets. So the way they were purchased, as the CEO as he said, I'm not aware, but we picked the assets worth in the records
we are told that they costed 168 million.
So who was the chairperson before you?
I was the first one, but KICOTEC was already existing because it was a department in Ministry of Trade.
Okay, Senator Wambua.
That's okay. I think we are doing well.
No, we are on the right one. Proceed. You are out of order. Please, you are out of order. Proceed, Senator Wambua. Senator Wambua, proceed.
So you came in 2020, right? Yes. Before then, there was no chair.
Yes.
KICOTEC was being operated under the Department of Trade.
Yes, sure.
Do we have the Chief Officer at Trade? Under whose tenure KICOTEC was initiated? You're here.
Thank you, Chair.
This is your man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
This is the right man. Can you tell us a story about 168 million?
Okay, my name is Justus Macau. I was Chief Officer for Trade starting August 2019. But I can give some history on what was happening then. The construction of KICOTEC started in the year 2018-2019 after the former governor took office. And then it was a department under the Ministry of Trade, just like we have cooperatives, MSMEs. It was the budget allocation was being voted under the Ministry of Trade as money that will go toward construction of KICOTEC. KICOTEC as a unit, as an independent unit, came into force in 25th of November 2019 when it was gazetted under Kitui County Corporation Act, KICOTEC regulations. That's when the KICOTEC became into force as an independent unit, and that is when the first chair was appointed. Before then, KICOTEC was operating as a unit. The budget was being voted under the Ministry of Trade, one of the programs, and the construction of the buildings, procurement of the machines, the training, the money was being done. The expenditure was being incurred at the parent ministry. It is when the KICOTEC became independent that all the assets that were procured by the ministry was transferred to the KICOTEC, and that is what was handed over to the board that came into force. So the assets that was transferred to KICOTEC was the 166 million. I think if the management dug further, they could have given us the breakdown of the machines. Even if they're not giving us the cost per machine, they can give us the sewing machine was this number. There might be different categories of what was handed over to them. That is what was done. His Excellency the Governor read a figure of 357, 395. I believe the 166 is part of the 395. And the 395 includes the money that went to, for example, like the procurement of the balance crusher. It is in that money, the 108 million shillings that was there. So the 395 did not go all of it to KICOTEC. There are other assets that the county invested on, like the ballast crusher, which had a substantial amount of money. That is part of the 395. Also the money for marketing. The marketing was done for all the county corporations that were formed then, KICOTEC being part of it. So we cannot conclusively say all the 395 went to KICOTEC. Thank you, Chair.
Questions are coming.
Yeah.
Let's start with Senator Mutinda. Now we have gotten the right person to respond.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Remind me your name, gentleman.
My name is Justus Macau.
Justus Macau. While you were the former CC Trade Chief of Staff,
Chief Officer.
Chief Officer. There was one Georgina Musembi at that time.
Yes.
Who appointed Georgina Musembi?
Unless I see okay, when you look at the Cooperation Act, I'm not sure about whether it was.
You were the former CEO.
I didn't appoint her.
You didn't. How did she get to office as the CEO?
She must have been appointed by the CEC, most likely.
Or by the CEC? You're the chief officer, former.
Chief officer, yes.
Are you still within the county?
No.
Were you fired or your term ended?
Our term ended.
Your term ended?
Yeah.
And you don't know how this lady came to office? Would you know if she was fired or she exited?
She exited because when the first CEO was being appointed, was being recruited, she was acting. And when he was recruited, that's when her term ended. She was just acting, waiting for recruitment of the CEO.
So she, okay, yes, former CEO, since you've raised your hand.
I can confirm Georgina was a seconded CEO in acting capacity from the county government of Kitui.
By the Department of Trade?
Yes, seconded. She's still working, I think, as a deputy director, still under the Ministry of Trade.
She's still working as a deputy director?
Assistant director, she's still there.
In the current government?
Yes.
Thank you so much. There's a reason I'm keen with this personnel. And the reason I'm keen, Governor, and your team, is because your Annex 3, which is for the bank, Georgina seems to have powers to withdraw cash. After each and every 2 days, she withdraws cash more than $500,000. And that's where the curiosity goes on who is this person. And funny enough, now you say she's still within the county. Every twice a day, she's able to withdraw more than half, just cash monies. Georgina Musembi, she's just withdrawing cash, money from operations. How? Did you ever question that, former CEO?
Or former chair?
Or former chair, or anybody would. The gentleman, you've been raising your hand. Sergeant Atam, you help him with the mic. Maybe he can shed some light.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Enoch Mbudu, former board member. I'm also the outgoing, I was actually the chief officer of finance at that time. And I think I would want to make a few clarifications. I want to follow up from where Dr. Kali has stopped. The budget that has been, and it's also good that we note that Dr. Kali was also the chief officer, budgeting and economic planning. I hope you'll be given time again to speak to the budget that has been attached as part of the responses from the government. But I'm quite aware of the contents of that budget. The budget that has been read, and it has caused a bit of confusion, and I understand really why that confusion is arising. The budget does not belong to KICOTEC. That budget, if you look at it, it's budget for Ministry of Trade, Cooperatives and Investments. And this is where KICOTEC is hosted. And the figure that have been read by Honorable Governor Malombe, for 2018-2019, KICOTEC did not exist as an entity. The document that created KICOTEC, the instruments, the Kitui County Corporation Act, was passed, if my memory serves me right, on 27th of November 2019. The board, which is sitting before you, honorable members, was regulated on 29th of January 2020. So the board and the acting CEO are right when they mentioned that the assets that they found at KICOTEC, they found them, they may not know where they came from. The big figure of 67 million that has been mentioned and wrongly under KICOTEC is a budget that was approved by the County Assembly for the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Cooperatives. KICOTEC was just one of the many programs that benefited from that budget. It is true that the same budget funded crusher, marketing of the county, of other county entities, and a few other things that were basically outside the KICOTEC. So
the issue of autonomy of KICOTEC is that KICOTEC could not spend when it not exists, but it was a program that outgrew the capacity of the ministry. Then they found the assembly and the county government, in their wisdom, decided to convert this program into an entity. Without having the benefit of the document that support the withdrawals by Georgina Musembi, I think it's also important we appreciate how KICOTEC was running. I'm not trying to explain the withdrawals, the quick withdrawals of $500,000 million or the amount that have been mentioned, because I haven't looked at the vouchers. But generally, it's good that we appreciate that KICOTEC is run, for that time was run by casuals, and casuals will be paid weekly. So once we get the benefit of looking at the vouchers, probably we'll be able to see whether there is any correlation between the amount that are being, the support document for the amount that were being withdrawn.
Point of order.
Yeah, what's your point of order?
You know, who is taking us again, responding to questions that have not been put to him. So why can't we just stick to our questions? We will get
stick to
there.
the question.
Okay. We will get there. And before we get there, you know there are records here, and this is a house of record. No, the records that have been brought to the Senate indicate that in 2019-2020, there are no transfers to KICOTEC. At that time, KICOTEC is operating. It's not being run under the Ministry or the Department of Trade. It's already operating. And there's no money that has been transferred to KICOTEC. Listen to this, this wild goose chase. There's no money that has been transferred to KICOTEC. But almost every day, Georgina is withdrawing 541, 43, 48, 5 consistently for a month plus, 540 something. You can only withdraw money from an account that has money. So where has this money come from? Where has the money come from that Georgina is withdrawing all the time, 500 plus, 500,000 shillings plus? And yet on record, no cash transfers to KICOTEC. Where is the money being withdrawn? Where has it come from?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, my senator, for that question. I'll start by responding to the funding of KICOTEC pre-inception of KICOTEC. When you look at the response that have come from Honorable Governor Malombe for 2018 and 2018-2019 financial year and 2019-2020 financial year, I just hope that that figure would have been split into the right financial years, so that we can be able to look at each year what figures you're talking about. Having said that, though, you realize for 2019-2020 financial year, that year has two bits. The first bit is the first 7 months pre-inception of KICOTEC, and the other bit is the final 5 months to make up 1 year from the inauguration of KICOTEC by the board. With the inauguration of the board. So the figure that would have been spent up to February of 2022 would automatically come from the approved county budget, which is sitting in the ministry. And I think then, because the KICOTEC now has got its own life, when those ones are coming.
For anybody in the team of the governor to testify on behalf of another person, or whether that there will be need for that testimony I mean, I know it's clarification, but whatever the gentleman was sharing was akin to testimonial, if I get it right. But perhaps you can guide.
Do not appear to be defending a potential witness who is not here. And Senator Enoch had directed you. Please respond to the specific question you have asked. Don't meander around. Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. As you've ruled, let me try to be specific to what our good senator has asked and seeks clarification. When you look at the statements for KICOTEC, there are two statements. There is one for operations account and there is one for revenue account. It's Annex 3. Annex 3 is operations account, page 1 up to page 3. Okay? And then after that, it's revenue account, page 1 to page 5. When you look at these dates, the account was opened immediately after KICOTEC was constituted through a gazette notice. The regulations, Kitui County Corporations Act.
When was the account opened?
It was March. It was, I can see the first transaction here was 7th of March, 2020.
2020?
Yes, and this was 7th of March. Because in the operations account, that is when the charge for checkbook went through. The checkbook was issued immediately the account was opened.
So let's walk slowly.
Yeah.
Because they said you are our man. You know, you're the man that we need to interrogate. So, do you still maintain the position that in the year 2019-2020, there are no transfers to KICOTEC from the county government of Kitui?
A big yes.
Now, then explain the transfer of the cash deposit from Kitui of 543,000 and another 543,000.
Which annex?
Annex.
The operations account?
Page 1, yes, operations account. On the 7th of March, there are two deposits there of 543 and another 543.
No. That's transaction reference, 5434502. That's the transaction reference number.
Okay.
The amount that was deposited was 11,100 shillings.
Oh, that's transaction deposit. So 11,000.
Yes.
This
to me is a payment which was done by a client who came to buy items from KICOTEC.
I'm asking you, what is the name again?
Justice.
Relax. Relax.
I am.
Is 11,000 shillings money?
It is money.
Is it money that on record has been captured by the bank as being deposited to a KICOTEC account from Kitui?
From the record I have, yes. It is money deposited, cash deposit from Kitui. Kitui doesn't mean it's Kitui government. Yes, it's
okay.
not Kitui
That's
government.
Just clarification.
Yes.
I'm telling you, relax. Don't relax. You know? Don't be in a defensive mode. We just trying to
clarify.
See where money got lost, because some money got lost. Yeah. So you're saying you still hold the position that in the year 2019-2020, no single cent was deposited to KICOTEC from the county government of Kitui.
There is no single cent that was deposited because the account was opened in March 2020.
Okay. On the same note, question by Senator Enoch, what is TRF? What were these transfers from TRF?
I don't know what TRF means.
Yeah. They are big transaction. There was a transfer from TRF to KICOTEC of 2 million shillings in May.
May this.
Then there was another transfer from TRF to KICOTEC of 2 million. That was in 14th of May. And then there was a transfer of 10 million on 16th of 10 million. And then we had another transfer from TRF
on the 25th of May of 8 million. So who is this TRF?
Okay, to me, I think it's transfer.
From where?
When you read that transaction in the, let me take you for example like the 10,500,000 shillings, 10.5. It is RTGS remission, I think, from the entity that transferred in Eastern and Southern is not clear. When you go down there, it is RTGS, RMT, the judiciary. KICOTEC had worked as an order from judiciary. This is a payment that came from judiciary. So all these credits you're seeing here, they are payments. Some of them, customers, they are just local suppliers. They come and order, they go and deposit direct from the KICOTEC account. But the big figures are money that are being transferred from institutions that had given KICOTEC orders.
Just a clarity, Chair, through you, they had two accounts. This one for revenue is where they make sales, so they receive money. True or false?
True.
After they have made that sale, then they have that operation account for expenditures, and then you transfer to that operation account so that you can make your expenditures to the suppliers. That is why we have the TRF in banking means transfer. So that's why we have TRF now to the operation account of 10 million, of 2 million, of 8 million. Yes. And that is why there's the bigger query of the one Musembi, Georgina. Now, in her case, she was withdrawing cash. True or false, CEO, Chief Officer?
Yes.
She withdrew cash. And at this platform is where the board should also be telling us, the chair of that former board, how you gave her authority as the CEO, because you are the top body. How you authorized cash withdrawals by one Georgina. Why was that done?
And it was not just Georgina. We had someone else called Faith Muna, who was also withdrawing cash. Who is Faith Muna?
CEO, Chair,
who is Faith Muna?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's Faith Muna.
Maybe the former chair, through you, Chair, he can be able to advise us with Faith and also explain to the committee why you are allowed Georgina to withdraw cash. Former chair.
Okay, Mr. Patrick, the former chair. I cannot remember someone by the name Faith Mona. And I'm also as well trying to check where Georgina was withdrawing the 541 on daily basis here from the transaction, and I cannot get them.
Wait, let me just remind you, according to the statement, Faith Mona on the 29th of May withdrew 172,000. Or maybe he was given a check to go and withdraw cash, 172,000. And then again, there were other cash withdrawals. Besides Musembi, there were other cash withdrawals which were withdrawn. Maybe through checks. Like on the 30th of April, there was a cash withdrawal from Kitui branch of 90,000. So this account was being operated on cash basis, clearly, from this statement. And these statements are not complete because they are just for 2 months, April to May. We are sure there were transactions in 2021, there were transactions in 2022. Where are the other statements? Chair, the former chair, you have not said anything.
Okay, I've said the mandatory signatories for the account was the CEO of the KICOTEC and one of the staff of executive in the Ministry of Trade.
But surely, Chair, what was the function of the board? Because the board, you receive financial reports from the CEO. Yes, when you sit in the board. Were you not questioning these transactions?
Okay, we are questioning them, the chair, through the finance committee. We worked through the committees.
Where is the evidence? Where is the evidence that you issued, you required the CEO to explain? Have you brought the evidence that you, in your meetings, is there any evidence, minutes, indicating that you indicated concerns about how the money was being managed?
We have all the meetings since we started our board meeting since 2020.
Can you provide those minutes to this committee?
Yes, we have all the minutes. But some of the transactions that are withdrawn here, maybe they are not approved in the minutes. They are not because the board.
No, I think the chair, you should frame your question like this because we are on the same page. Bwana chair, tunauliza, ulijua ya kwamba Georgina ana withdraw pesa cash kutoka kwa benki? Wewe kama chair wa hiyo board, ulijua Georgina anatoa pesa kama CEO?
Yes, we knew.
Kwa hivyo wewe ulimruhusu atoe cash?
Yeah, for operations.
Operation.
Yes.
Mulikuwa na akaunti. Nimeona hapa kuna cost ya checkbook, sio?
Yes.
Kwa nini hamkulipa hawa suppliers na check? Kwa nini mlitoa cash mulipe cash? Kwa nini hamkulipa na check? Vile customer amewalipa pesa imeingia. Alafu mnapeleka kwa operation. Hii operation ya account ya expenditure ilikuwa na checkbook. Kwa nini nyinyi kama board hamkuhakikisha checks zimesainiwa vizuri zikiwa na attached expenditure that has been approved?
Okay, that is exactly what we are doing. We used to approve all the money through the checks that were being paid to the suppliers. The cash that were being withdrawn was for the operations in the offices, of which I think it's not much.
It is, so $500,000 to you is not much, eh?
What?
$500,000 is not much. It's petty cash, it's too small. Chair.
All the suppliers actually were paid through checks.
Umesema ya kwamba, Chair, I want this clarity. The question that we are asking, and the chair is asking about the money that even Faith Muna withdrew. The 172, the $500,000, we've seen 200, we've seen so many figures. So according to you as the chair, these are small monies.
Me, I've not seen that.
It is in your statement.
For the Muna, I think it was written a check. It was written a check, and maybe you can present it to the bank. I've not went through all those transactions.
You know, former chairperson, you are taking us in circles. And you know this is a committee of the Senate, which has powers, quasi-judicial powers, like the High Court. So when you are appearing before us and you are responding to issues, you must understand that. And I am very confident that the board had a role in this matter. Because your own act, the Kitui County Corporation Act, had vested some responsibility in you to ensure proper financial management of the entity. And I would like the legal officer to read out the particular provision of the Corporation Act, the County Corporation Act. Yeah, before, yes.
I'm struggling with an entry here, Annex 3. If you can just go there, Annex 3. Annex 3. On the 24th of April. Yeah? So, Chair, what has happened on 24th of April? 700,000 shillings has been transferred from the KICOTEC revenue account and deposited to the operations account of KICOTEC. The same day, our good lady Georgina has withdrawn 610. Can somebody explain that? As may be, Chair, perhaps Georgina should be here. Perhaps Georgina should be here because I'm not sure these gentlemen will.
Yeah, Georgina is an interest, a witness of interest. In the earlier meeting, because we had not seen these reports, so we didn't invite her. But I think Georgina is accountable to this committee because of these many transactions.
Because, Chair, I mean, let's just call this thing what it is. I don't know why we're even going around in circles on this thing. This thing is just a conduit. It's a cash cow. That's what it is. It's a special purpose vehicle created to siphon money from the county using not very clever ways. This is what it is. Now you cannot tell us that Georgina every day is withdrawing whatever amounts of money that she is withdrawing for operations. The board is okay with that. The chief officer is okay with that. Everybody but the Senate is okay with that. Chair, I think so that we also don't waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
I think you should move now towards the closure on this matter. The other time I had said you need to declare KICOTEC a scene of crime. You were a bit hesitant. I'm not sure you will be more hesitant.
Yeah, I think those who are raising hands, that is unprocedural. I said all communications are made through the governor. If the governor feels fit, a particular person should respond to a matter, the governor will make that decision. He is the chief executive of the county to respond to the issues. So, honorable members, these statements that have been given to us are only for 2 months. The period from April 2020 to May 2020. And that means maybe we have other questionable transactions which are contained in the complete statements. So I would direct right away that Governor, you when you go back, you provide the complete statements from when the account was opened to the current date, so that the members can see the magnitude of the problem, because this is just for 2 months. It's just for 2 months. So any other question before we move to the third issue and fourth issue?
I think Chair will say we move to the third and fourth because there's a bigger elephant in the room that I'm curious to engage on, and where I would also want the input of EACC.
Yeah, we have, EACC have a substantial report which they are going to give. But members, clearly we have noted inconsistency in the operation of this account. In fact, the argument that the money that was given, the 168 million was used to purchase the assets, the audit report says there is no asset register for this particular company. So how do we even confirm the 168 without an asset register? Number two, there is no justification for cash withdrawals. There is no justification for cash withdrawal at all. So this particular lady, Musembi, we are going to give directions on how we are going to engage her further. So Governor, let's proceed to the third issue for clarification.
Thank you, Chair. Question number 3 was, or issue number 3 was requiring that the financial performance report of the Kitui County Textile Center since inception to date, clearly indicating the profits and or losses made. And there is a report there on page
just Governor, hold on. Just hold on. Senator Eddie Okech, you know, is a highly rated financial analyst. He has just discovered additional issues. So Senator Okech, please raise them before I go back to the governor.
Chair, there's a serious problem here that I wanted you to actually just recommend that within 7 days have Georgina come here, and the board chair who was the corresponding board chair at that time.
He's here, the board chair is here.
But I was following online, you know, we know it's very technical. I heard the way chair talked, and I had a problem with the chair. Because this Georgina issue, when anybody withdraws money, there has to be narration, which you are simplifying to be Georgina Musembi. If today I asked you, 700,000 was withdrawn in April, what was it for? As a chair, you cannot be able to account for it. But the reason why I'm now almost going to the understanding of the senator for Kitui, Chair, I want you to check page 5 of 5. That's a revenue account. It's almost a concluded revenue account. You can see there is a debit there of 8 million. Are we all there? Page 5 of 5. From the revenue side, there is 8 million leaving the revenue account, going to the operations account. Because we are running 2 accounts, revenue and operations. Chair, are we there? Then, page 5 of 5. There's 8 million from the revenue account going to operations account. Now, I want you to turn to page 3 of 3. Which is why I'm getting really, really jittery right now. Page 3 of 3, 28th of May, 2020. 28th of May, 2020. Are we there? Yes. Georgina Musembi. It is 3 of 3. That's what I have. No operations. Now, because I'd come from, I was tracking the money from revenue to operations. That's a similar month, right? So we are on the operations account 3 of 3. Georgina Musembi withdraws 1.5 million. That's very little money for this KICOTEC, right? Yes. It's just an operations amount, isn't it? But then go with me to 29. That is a day, literally a day after. Okay? A day after, 29th of May, 2020. The same Georgina Musembi withdraws 644,000. Very, very small pocket change, corresponding to the money that has come from revenue account. Chair, why is that not? Why is I think under Article 125 of the Constitution, Georgina Musembi must come and explain for us these accounts. And I would further ask that we get the entire corresponding accounts, not for only these 2 months, but for the entire financial years that Georgina Musembi was the acting CEO, the CEO of this company. Because there is interesting that's happening here that we must get corresponding, narrations to this withdrawals, Chair.
Very well. We are going to make recommendations at the end of the meeting, touching on Regina Musembi, because the transactions, however much you try to explain, are not explainable. There are clear signs of fraud. So we will have her to appear before us.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, issue number 4 was the ownership status of the land occupied by the Kitui County Textile Center. KICOTEC occupies approximately 1.2 hectares of land, being a portion of LR Jangwidia/Kaveta 994 and LR Jangwidia/Kaveta 174. All the parcels are registered registered under Siongela Youth Polytechnic, and both the chair of the BOM and the manager of the Polytechnic are here. And we have annexures showing that after official search, which was captured, yeah, so that is the ownership of the land as per our record. There was some other record which was showing there was a company which was formed known as Kitui EPZ something with some directors, and when we changed CRTL, really the people appearing there were not even officials of the county. And it seems there was an attempt. I don't know whether it succeeded, but I doubt.
Do you have that document with you?
I think it was part of the document which was sent. I can't see it here, but in the document we sent earlier, there was such a document. Did you include it here?
It's not in the bundle that we have.
Chair, you recall you requested us to send you all the documents we have relating to KICOTEC.
Yes.
Kiangwivia Caveta 174 and 994 was to be gazetted as a EPZ. And at the time, there was indication of transfer of the land to Kitui EPZ Limited. Chair, I can stop there. The management of Siongela with the what was going on by then. Thank you.
So, honorable members, we have now two issues to look at. Issue number 3, which is on the financial performance. So now this ties into my question on the assets. These assets that you have stated in your financial, 249 million. In the third year, the assets reduced to 202 million. Fourth year, the assets grew slightly to 204 million. And the last year, the assets further reduced to 200 million. Did these assets include the land on which KICOTEC stands? Governor, you can ask for help.
I think once again, we need clarity from acting CEO on this because they are involved in the preparation of the accounts.
Acting CEO.
Okay, through our honorable chair and our excellence, our governor, the assets shown on the analysis does not include the value of the land. Thank you.
Chair, can I write on your question on the same?
Proceed.
So if he says that the asset, the figures, do not include the value of the land, then how are these assets now amounting to over 200 million, yet you've claimed from the initial that they were 168? Where do you get the additional figures?
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Senator. The figure increased from 168 to 200, yeah? Because when KICOTEC made a loss of 90 million, there was an element of a deferred tax, which is treated like a deferred tax asset. So basically, it is normally added to our current assets. So that is why you could be able to see the value of the assets increased.
Eddie, do you have valuation report of any form with regards to these assets?
Through the chair, no.
So what are you basing these values on?
Through the chair, as I stated earlier, when I joined KICOTEC, we found that the list of assets which were amounting to 168 million, of which we could not state the makeup of those assets because there were no records supporting the 168 million.
Sorry, what's your name? I just want to have a good conversation. Moy, isn't it?
Yoma, Peter Yoma.
Yoma?
Yes.
And you are? What is your title in the company?
I'm the acting CEO.
Currently?
Yes.
The 168 that you're talking about was not the value of assets. I've read your reports and I was listening to you presenting. The 168 that you talk about, which actually is found, I think, in page 4, okay, is the amount that the county injected over a period of 3 years.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
And it is presumptuous that that amount was spent on assets. As far as I'm concerned up to now, there is no presentation to this committee that that amount was spent on assets.
Yes.
So you're working on assumption that 168 was spent on assets.
Exactly.
But you don't have evidence to that effect.
Exactly.
So I'm asking you, when you look at your asset values that you've given here, the 238 million, the 249 million, the 202 million, okay? Put also in mind that you had responded to the question of unsupported plant and equipment. You had put your own response that on your asset, you're just doing estimations. So even those estimations, what are these values based on? As the evaluation that has been done on these assets, do you have any evaluation reports?
No.
What did you use to estimate the value of these reports, of these assets?
Okay, through the chair. We did not use anything to estimate the values of those assets. What we found the analysis of those assets amounting to 168, and basing on the list of, basing on the values we found.
CEO, turn to page 4. Just turn to page 4. Because you're insisting on something that I've cautioned you not to insist on. These are your documents. They are not our documents. On page 4 of your responses, during this inception period, KICOTEC received financial report from the county government by way of purchase of equipment and materials, construction of physical infrastructure, and meeting of operational costs through the parent ministry. That support is further explained to be amounting to 168 million, which you're referring to, over 2018, 2019, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Are you seeing what I mean? So the 168 million you're referring to did not all go to assets. It went to operation costs, it went to physical infrastructure, and it went to equipment and materials. The response you have given to us here does not break down how that 168 was spent across those 3 different votes. So therefore, it cannot be the basis for valuation of these assets. Are we together up to there?
Yes, we're together.
Yes. So I'm asking a very simple question. How did you come with 2 237 as the value of assets, okay, in the first financial year in question. How was that value arrived at?
Through the chair. I think I would say, I think I would say we, in this value for 238,
238 million, yes?
Yes. And I think I need to apologize because the value of the land is indicated on the assets, which is making it to 238.
And what is the value of the land?
What is the value of the land?
At the unless I revert to the financial statement, I can't say the exact figure right now.
Chair, allow me to help Eddie. Eddie.
And Governor, you know, we also have the former CEO.
Is the former CEO here?
The former CEO is here. You should be responding to helping your...
Then this meeting has just started.
Former CEO.
Chairman, I think let's bring in the former CEO because he's the one who knows, together with the former chief officers who are there, they are the ones who know how this 168 million came about and what its components were. Maybe let's start with, say, former CEO.
Before they do that, Senator Ladama, put yourself on record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Then,
thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ladama Lekena, Minority Whip, Senator Narrow County, and a member of this committee.
Proceed. The two officers respond to the questions.
Let's start with the former CEO, because the members of the board of KICOTEC say they came around 2019, 2020, and KICOTEC by then was being operated under the ministry. And when they came, the draft accounts, the abstract accounts which they were given, at least 168 million. Can you explain it?
Okay. Thank you, Your Excellency, and Chair, through the Governor. I will respond on the issue of the assets, the 168, but I would like to request through the Governor the issue of the financial records to be responded to by maybe the former CEO.
The issue of?
The financial records, financial statements.
And the issue of land,
Chair,
ownership?
Chair, wait.
You respond to that as well.
Chair, wait, if you allow me. What's your name, gentleman?
My name is Justus Macau.
Justus?
Yes.
When was KICOTEC started?
KICOTEC started in, it was gazetted through a Corporation Act in November 2019.
2019?
Yeah.
Were you working in the county in 2019? What was your role?
Then I was a chief officer trade.
Of trade, isn't it?
Yes.
Where was KICOTEC at that time?
It was
under the Ministry of Trade.
It was a unit under the Ministry of Trade.
Isn't it? As a program?
Yeah.
What were you on the board at that time?
There was no board before the...
Of the program then?
Before the KICOTEC was gazetted through the Corporation Act,
yes,
there was no board.
Okay.
Yes.
Was it running under your ministry?
Yes.
Were you aware about the program?
Yes.
So why do you want somebody else to answer before you?
I think you didn't get me right.
You were the chief officer of trade at that time.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Therefore, you're the chief accounting officer for that program.
Yes.
True or false?
That's
under PFM Act 149, you are the accounting officer.
Yeah.
Okay? So you are the person I wanted to answer this question. Because at that time, it was not a corporation under 182 and 184 of the PFM Act. It was a program. Are you getting me?
I get yours.
You are the one who was saying that at that time it was not, there was no CEO, there was no board, it was a program. So you were then the accounting officer. So for that year, you must help us understand what was happening at KICOTEC.
And just to add to that, Senator Eddy,
No,
Chief
you know,
Officer,
members, I think we
let
need
me
to
clarify
listen.
this. No, it's
Wait.
important, kindly.
We're out of order.
Kindly.
Please wait. Members, I think we need to maintain the flow. A question had been asked to the two to respond to. Let them deal with that, and then they will respond to Eddie, and then I will come to you.
I didn't have a question, Chair. I just wanted that he also became a member of the board when you constituted the board in 2020. Just yes or no?
Yes.
Please now answer the questions through the chair.
So just start with the first set of questions that were asked, and then you will respond to Eddie, and then we proceed.
And for that particular financial year, Chair, it is him who must help us because he's the one who midwifed the changing from a program to a full-fledged corporation, a county entity. So for those financial year, the finances are up to you. Do you get why you're liable for that?
Can we allow the gentleman to answer the question? Please reduce your interjection so that we have the floor.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
As I stated earlier, the procurement of assets for KICOTEC before it became a corporation was done under the Ministry of Trade. The monies were voted under the line ministries. We procured assets, and once KICOTEC became a corporation, those assets were transferred to KICOTEC board. Assets worth 168. What I do not have now is now the list of the assets and the cost of those assets that were transferred. Okay? Those are 3-4 years down the line. I cannot pinpoint these assets were this much, they were this number. I do not have those details.
You see, Chair, let me just help you.
Let's start with the Senator Ladama, and then we go to Senator Wambua, and then Senator Mutinda, please.
All right, Governor, this gentleman that you've allowed to respond to the query, Macau, has taken us to a very interesting direction. And I think the direction that he has taken us is a direction that I think you can resolve. Because one, any asset that is bought, there has to be a vendor who is authorized. It must be in the procurement plan for the county. So what I would like to request so that we can move forward, because this business of you saying you don't know what the assets were, you're actually not telling the truth. Because there's a procurement plan. There's a vendor who was paid by the county government. So I would request, Mr. Chairman, that the county government provide this committee with the name of the vendor, the assets which were bought, the payment method, because they were transferred from this trade department. I've looked at what the Auditor General has said. Up to 2021, I think financial year 2022, since operation of the KICOTEC as a county corporation, no direct cash transfers were made. But prior to that, the assets were bought by the ministry. So if you take the county executive audit and you look at their financials when they were purchased, you can be able to respond to that query. So my advice to you is that if you do not have the responses here, don't say I do not know. You know, seek for time to provide that list so that we're able to follow and close that chapter.
Chair.
Let me.
Yes. So, Chair, you know the responses that are coming through arise from questions 3 and 4. Chair, there are things you should also rule on. You don't have to wait for the conclusion of this discussion. One of the things that you can rule on is that I don't think there is anyone before you today who has capacity or knowledge of the value of the assets of KICOTEC. And if they do, they are not willing to disclose that. Because Mara, it is 168 million. Mara, it is 238 million. Mara, the 168 million is all the money that was given to this unit over a period of 3 years. When it is convenient, you say, no, that's the value of the asset. On that matter, Chair, let's just Let the chips lie where they have fallen. On the matter of the land, because to me that is actually the real elephant in the room, if you ask me. Why is it that the county government of Kitui does not own the land on which KICOTEC stands for a project that, in their own testimony, hundreds of millions of shillings has been pumped into? Yeah, when I did business studies many, many years ago, my teacher told me, and I trust him, that land is an important factor of production. That before you do anything, you must own land. Ask these people before us to tell us who owns the land that KICOTEC operates from, and how was it appropriated? Because it was appropriated under the chief officer's watch when he was the chief officer for trade. How did they acquire the land on which KICOTEC stands today? So we also don't, Chair, what we're looking for is a solution to a problem. Not stories. You know what I'm hearing now, are stories. You know, a lot of stories. That's not helping anyone. We want a solution to this problem. Who owns this land? How is it that KICOTEC today stands on land that they don't own?
Just on that point, just to add on that, if you allow me to piggyback on the query asked by Senator Wambua, under which arrangement was KICOTEC hosted by the Polytechnic? Is there a lease agreement? Is there a lease that has been drafted? And if in that lease, how much is paid to the Polytechnic, or is it for free? So those are the queries that we need to find to understand.
Yeah, through the governor, please respond to those questions.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Lidam, for clarification of asset register. I believe the asset register that was provided to the Auditor General during 2018-2019 financial year should have included, because that was done sometimes in September towards December 2019, should have some of the assets that were under KICOTEC before they were transferred to that were under the Ministry
For
of
your
Trade.
information, that is one of the audit queries. There was no asset register provided.
That's right. There was no asset register for KICOTEC provided, but 2018-2019, it is asset register for the county government, because that is when the assets were procured before then. So the asset register for county government should give a glimpse on the number of assets that were owned by the Ministry of Trade, and you can pick from there. Now, in terms of land ownership, and I mentioned, Senator, when I came in, that I became Chief Officer of Trade in 2019, August. By then, the KICOTEC operational and everything was in place. As we were just, what I did was to midwife the County Corporation Act and the County Corporation Act regulation for KICOTEC. So everything had been done while I was not there. I would not wish to comment on the ownership of KICOTEC, but His Excellency the Governor has shown the document who owns the land.
Chair, just on a point of order, Chair. What is your position? And what was your position in 2019?
I was the Chief Officer
Now,
Trade.
Just stop right there. What is the purpose of a Chief Officer? Are you not the accounting officer?
Yes, I was.
So then why would you come to this Senate committee and say you wish not to comment on the ownership of the land? Did you understand your job then?
Yes, I did.
Then why can't you respond to that? Mr. Chairman, this gentleman must respond to that because you are the accounting officer.
Thank you.
And I want, before you respond, I want to write on his question. Did you understand the provisions of the Kitui Government Corporation Act?
Yes, I did.
You understood?
Yeah.
And you understood the role that you played as far as that County Act is concerned.
Yes.
I want the legal officer to read out. Oh, you are not ready. Read out the provisions of your own law, which I'm sure you participated in formulating the law. This is related to the question that Senator Lama is asking. Proceed, legal officer.
Thank you, Chair. The relevant provision in the Kitui County Corporations Act is Section 29, which provides for accountability, and it provides that a board shall be responsible for the proper management of the affairs of a county corporation and shall be accountable for the monies, the financial business, and the management of a county corporation.
Very well. So the board members, former board members who are here, and yourself, you had a responsibility under your own law as a board member, and you as Waziri then, to be accountable to the resources of KICOTEC, including the land, including the monies. We have seen the withdrawals that were made by Regina Musepi. You are saying you are not aware. Were you not receiving reports? You were receiving reports. So I want you to respond to Senator Ladama and also respond to what actions you took based on law as read out by the legal officer.
Okay. The ownership of the land, I will just go back to what the governor said. The land is owned by Siongila Polytechnic. Okay? And Siongila Polytechnic is the owner of the land where KICOTEC sits.
So how did you begin to operate from that land? Question that you're trying to run away from.
I'm not running away from.
But just tell us, how did you get the land?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you, Senator, that when I came to KICOTEC, the construction has already been done. The operations were going on. Okay?
You see,
you asked, Chair, I think you're being taken around.
You are very annoying. You are very extremely annoying. And I told you that this committee has a power similar to the High Court. What you are supposed to tell this committee, when you came in as the Waziri, CEO trade, you should have asked for necessary land document. If the land was not owned by you, you should have asked for a lease agreement. And that's the question that Senator Ladama asked you previously and you didn't respond to. Please give us clear answers to the questions that we are asking you.
Or if you want us to make it simpler for you, we can also as a committee. KICOTEC, when you entered KICOTEC when it had been constructed, isn't it? It was going on. That's good. And then you continue operating there.
Yes, the KICOTEC continued operating.
Under what agreement?
And I didn't ask.
Because if you're running away from, yes, they were already there. You don't know what transpired there. But now, when you took charge as a chief officer, you continue to operate.
Yes.
What was the arrangement that you continue operating on with the Polytechnic? Did you prepare a lease document? Did you even bother to ask whether there is an ongoing agreement on purchase? Under what agreement did you continue?
I did not ask the question.
Just on a point of order. Yes. Let me try to help you. And I'll give you an analogy of Kenyatta University and the hospital. They both sit in government land. The Polytechnic is government land. Just try to be a bit candid and tell us the truth. Was there any lease agreement between KICOTEC and the Polytechnic? That's question number one. If there wasn't, was there any money which was paid to the Polytechnic? Number three, was the occupation of the Polytechnic land by force? Those are the three scenarios. It has to be one of them.
Please answer in specific terms.
The example you've given about Kenyatta University, KICOTEC sits on Siongila Polytechnic, which is owned by the county government. They all belong to the county government, okay? About the lease, I said, it's, if I'm not wrong, the Siongela Polytechnic is an institution under the county government.
But how is the land owned by the county government? You know, Patrick, Chair, at this point, then I think this witness should be perhaps put under oath. Yeah, because, Chair, the county government is sitting today, many, many years after you left, is itself saying that the land belongs to Siongela Youth Polytechnic. Him is saying it belongs to the county government. Chair, now that he doesn't have to tell us the truth, let us not provoke him to tell us the truth. When you came in as chief officer, did you find a dispute between yourselves and Siongela Youth Polytechnic?
No, I didn't find.
There's no dispute.
I didn't.
Chair, there's a management of Siongela. They are here. They can tell us how their land was grabbed.
Yeah. Who is Siongela? Okay, give her a mic to respond to Senator Wambua. Sergeant Atam.
Chair, point of order. Chair, may I request that now you put, because of these particular issues, you put the two.
No,
I know, but you see,
the governor
because of 125, these are witness account. I know 179 gives the governor the ultimate chief executive position in this conversation, but because these are witness, basically we are summoning you as a witness. I mean, we are inviting you as a witness in this conversation. I think that you are witnessing under 125. So because of that 125, then you must be able to take an oath, the two of you, okay? Because we want to establish what is going on here. And I think that you're giving the governor a burden that's not the governor's burden. So that, I think, Chair, you can rule on it,
totally
under 125, the two must be under oath. The former chief officer and the Siongela team that is going to talk about this matter.
I think you need to make a decision on how we are going to move as far as this is concerned. Because these particular officers, we have two groups of officers from Kitui. We have the officers who have accompanied the governor, the current team in Kitui county government. And then we have the former board of the KICOTEC, who were to accompany the former governor who has not come. So if you decide that each of those witnesses takes an oath, I have no problem. They can take an oath.
Yeah.
Starting with the former Waziri and then the former, are you the former or the current?
I'm still current.
Siongela, you are current.
I was and I am. Yes.
You are and you are still there. So, okay, since the legal officer had directed that you were individually summoned, I think you will individually take the oath. Starting with you, the clerk, please.
Let's put people on that one.
Chair, before they take an oath, just point of order. May the legal officer just tell you the implication of being under oath? Yes, I think it's important. I think it's important. Legal officer. Yes. Because this issue must be solved once and for all.
Yeah.
It's a quick one, 30 seconds.
Very quickly, please. And you realize, honorable members, we have one more presentation to go from EACC. Yeah. You see the issues are, yeah. Proceed, legal officer, quickly.
Chair, I'll refer to Section 21 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, which provides that a person who is being examined under oath, or in terms of Section 20, which provides for the examination of witnesses, shall be required to answer any question put to the person in connection with the subject of the inquiry, and to produce any document or information that the person is requested to produce under that section, despite the fact that the answer or the document would incriminate or expose the person to criminal or civil proceedings in a court of law.
That means if you lie before this committee and you get to find the truth, that is a criminal offense. Proceed, madam.
I, Maggie Kitonga, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So God help me.
Very well. So proceed to tell us about the ownership of this land. And is there any dispute? How KICOTEC came in to take away your land?
Through the chair, I hope you are going to listen to how KICOTEC landed to Siongila Polytechnic. On 4th, 2018, 4th, it was April 2018 is when KICOTEC started constructions in the land. We came, we asked the manager who is with us what was happening. He told us that a group of officers came, uprooted greenhouses that we had planted there, and started digging the holes for construction. We went. The next time that we came, we found mushrooming buildings coming up. We asked the manager, you told us what is happening. He told us that the officers came. That first time, they never came again, but we are seeing also construction going on. My board decided to go to the office to find out what is happening, because nobody has told us what is happening in the land. So we went. Fortunately, we found the officers there. After sharing a bit, they said that the land belongs to the county government because it is devolved. That ministry is devolved, so it is theirs, and they are going to do great things in that area. We waited and they said that they'll come in 3 days' time. We waited until 2019 is when we are told to stop enrolling students and move out and close the Polytechnic. We told the manager that that one is not going to happen. You are an officer. We are going to enroll the students. You just, when you asked, say we are enrolling, not you. So it continued. Now there was now that wrangles of wanting to take the land. One evening, the manager was not there. He had gone on official duties. I was called by the teacher on duty around 6, 7, that officers have come and they need the title deeds of the institution. Actually, there was a lot of harassment that time. Or when they came, when he called me, that teacher on duty, I told him, find a way, because he was being arrested, find a way of getting the title deeds and move out with them. Actually, that is what he did. He ran away and left the officer there. After 2-3 days, we returned the title deeds to the office. Then after that, we were called by the office to go and surrender the title deeds. When we went, we were given a day to surrender the title deeds. Actually, I remember, even before then, we notified the people concerned in that area. We wrote a letter, we had notified our senator present here with us. We wrote to the office that time. We gave also a copy to the MCR, and that is now 2019 when now the fight started off. It was serious because during the meetings, we were forced to accept. Then we said, for us to accept, let there be a public participation because this land belongs to the community and we are not the community. Let them come and say yes. It was done on a Sunday, 4 p.m. I did not attend, and a few others. After that is when now they are talking about it was registered, because they went back to the office and said that the public participation was done and the public has, I'm sorry to say, the borders who were around that area came to the chief's office and said, we did not accept the board. Then from there, the community members contributed money and went to court. So we went to court. The files that we have all the documents of what I'm talking about. We had a court case which went on until 2022, November. That is when our court ended. And in between, we had threats that move out, we go back to the court, because the first lawyer passed on when the court was going on, community got another one and continued. So I strongly say the land belongs to Siongela Polytechnic, bought by the community. Yes, bought by the community and divided by the community. Thank you.
Tell us about this other monster that was registered called the EPZ that was attempting to also own the land.
We only came to know about EPZ when we went to the office, when we were called to the office to give out the title deeds. It's when we were told that great things are going to be done in Siongela and people in Siongela will benefit out of it. So we don't know about it.
Thank you, Madam. You have been so very helpful, but Senator Mutinda?
Thank you, Madam. You've really been elaborative, but I wanted you give us more details on two personnel. You said that officers, you were summoned to the office to issue the title. Who summoned you to the office, and is that person here? Number two, the first time that people came from the county to take the land, you said the manager. Who is that manager? Is the manager here?
Yes.
Please identify them and let us know who they are.
Those people who? The manager? The manager is here.
What is his name?
Lance Kai.
Stand up. We want to see your face. There he is. Who else?
That is now the manager, Siongela Polytechnic.
No, I'm talking of the people who came to victimize you, to evict you and put structures from the county?
When they came, he was in place.
Or he was in the office?
Yes.
So who came? Nani alikuja?
The manager, you can help, but you need to take an oath.
As the manager is taking an oath, just quickly to save time, you said you were summoned to take the titles to the county.
Yes.
Who did you take the titles to? Or who summoned you? Nani aliwaita?
Tuliitwa na officer wa trade.
Nani? Anaitwa?
Nani? Alikuwa anaitwa somebody. Alienda hata tulionana when he was exiting because we were talking on phone until I told him now I'm tired, I cannot help you. Nimeshindwa.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Proceed to take the oath quickly and respond.
I, Lance Kaigari, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
So proceed to tell us the people who came to harass you people and take away your land.
Well, when the people who came were then chief officer for trade and the chief officer for education. But I cannot remember the name for the chief officer for trade, but I can remember the chief officer for education was Geoffrey Changangu. So these two officers came to the office. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I was not in. So they met the teacher on duty, who I had handed over the keys of the whole institution to. So they harassed the teacher on duty to hand over the title deeds. Then there was that communication between him and the chair board that they should not surrender the title deeds. So the title deeds were taken to the chairperson's home for safety, and the officers were not able to access the title deeds. But actually what happened is, on an evening, before the onset of everything else, on an evening, late evening, I reside within the compound. So late in the evening, around 7, CEMs of the county government then visited the institution. The names, there were so many of them, around more than 10 CEMs. The county.
Oh, the entire government was there?
Yes.
Except the governor?
On one evening, that is past working hours, around 7 or so, came in, and when I was out, I saw a fleet of vehicles, got concerned what's happening, approached them, and then when I approached them, they were the far end of the institution land. So I was concerned, who are these who are in our land without notifying us? So when I went to check, it was the CECMs. So they told me, we want to develop your land, asked me what problems we had for the institution. I mentioned a few, and in a week or so, work started. The institution was fenced. We have a problem of water. We were supplied with almost 10 tanks of 10,000 liters of water, and a borehole was drilled in the compound. And well, I thought that was good until sometimes later now is when the minister then for infrastructure, the name was Mr. Kakundi, yes, and trade, I cannot remember trade, the CC for trade, came in with officers from the public works and told me that they had spotted land in the compound and wanted to construct a factory. So me being an employee of the county government and these are my bosses, I would not say anything. So these people came in and work started. Then this alerted the board about it. So the board actually visited the governor's office. They were not given a kind reception because after all the land belongs to Siongila Vocational Training Center, which is Siongila Polytechnic, and to the county government. So that's how my board that there was going to be a meeting in the office of the governor, that the governor wanted to meet the board. Unfortunately, fortunately, I was traveling to Kakuma on official duty. So I was not able to attend that meeting, but my board attended the meeting and actually did not agree to hand over the title deeds of the land to the county government, which forced the chief officer of trade and chief officer of education to storm the school office and demand for the title deeds. But they were not able to.
What are the names of those two chief officers?
I remember for education is Geoffrey Changangu. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
And it was forced now through the various meetings that they had with the chairperson and the board that now if the title deed is to be handed over to them, then a public participation is to be done. So all this was happening I was not in school then, I was out on official duty. So when I came back, I met the public participation meeting. So I was told by my CM then, Mr. Kivoto.
I want you to summarize because after your presentation, I'm going to give a ruling that Siongila Polytechnic, you will have to make a written submission of the things you have said through the governor and submit it to us in 14 days. But just summarize what you are saying.
So now the public participation was done and the community agreed to hand over the land, and then stakeholders of the institution went to court. The court managed to rule that the status quo continues, so the institution was allowed to continue teaching. And the court order happened, and the institution was managed to be served by the court order until the case was terminated. Thank you.
You want to add something, Madam?
Yes, something small. During that day of public participation, we have something written that I also attended. But they had a meeting in an hotel. Yes, a witness, he was the secretary. I was not there, and my name was put there.
Okay, in your submission, you say that and attach all the relevant documents.
Yes.
The ones you had made reference to.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
May I request that this gentleman goes on oath?
Yes.
And then respond to the queries that I ask, because you're the chief officer.
Can the clerk, please? And the chairperson of the KICOTEC is also here. You will also take an oath and also respond to questions that members are going to ask.
I, Justice Kali Makau, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect of the matters before the committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So, Senator Ladama, you can now ask the questions after the oath. And because he has just taken the oath, some of the questions you asked earlier, you can ask now.
Now, Governor, I will ask you, former officer, because you know the county government is still an institution. Mr. Makau, could you please tell us your position back in 2019 And then could you please tell us about the procurement plan for the money that was transferred, or rather which was used to purchase equipment for KICOTEC, if indeed it was approved by the Assembly? Because whenever you have something called the Annual Development Plan and you have a CIDP. Based on the Auditor General, it appeared that purchasing of equipment was carried out in 3 financial years. You were the CEO, Chief Officer, which indeed you are the accounting officer for the Ministry of Trade under the Kitui County Government. So could you please tell us about your procurement plan for that particular year? Tell us the name of the vendor, whether the vendor was approved, okay? And also whether the Assembly approved for that department to be able to spend that money to buy those equipment. And I'm referring to the first amount of 168 million Kenya shillings. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and Senator. I would like to state that my position was the Chief Officer, Trade, Ministry of Trade, starting September 2019. 2019-2020, we were implementing a budget that had been approved by the County Assembly before the end of the previous financial year. And I can say there are vote lines that were there for implementation of programs in KICOTEC. What I do not have now, which I need time to seek, is the procurement plan and the items that were procured during 2019-2020 when I started being Chief Officer of Trade. Yes.
What about for the next financial year, which is 2020-2021?
Again, there was a budget, but again, I would like to seek more time to interrogate the budget and the procurement plan then. But everything that was being spent was approved by the County Assembly.
Okay. Yeah. Who was the county officer of 2018-2019 at the inception of KICOTEC?
It's a colleague called Clement Munyidia.
So when you took over the office in 2019-2020, because you said you took over August or September, yeah. Which? Is it August or September?
I know it's around, I cannot tell exactly, but I know it's around that time. Yeah.
So when you took over from him, it's like a clerk of this committee taking over. There's something which is normally called a legacy report, where you now take over and you're told this is how far we've gone. Were you not aware? Were you presented with a legacy report of the previous financial year, and were you told how much money had already been spent out of the 168 to be able to purchase equipment?
What I can clarify now, Senator, is that there was an handover report that I signed with the outgoing Chief Officer. Again, I would also need to look, I didn't interrogate it, because when we were being summoned, we were told to come and answer questions relating to 1920 to 2122. And the issue that were in the audit queries, the issue of asset register was there, but I didn't look at the
Mr. Chairman, my last question to the witness is that during the financial year 2022-2023, were you still the Chief Officer of Trade? And at that time, had the transfer of KICOTEC now been transferred to the corporation?
Which year did you say, 2022-2023?
Because you came in 2019, 2020. Yeah. So you officiated 2019-2020, 2020-2021, 2021-2022. What about 2022-2023, which is from July to the time when we did our elections?
I was Chief Officer for Trade 1920, and I think part of 2021. Mr. Mboka is here, was part of the board that was called. He's the one who came in after me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Chairman, what you're saying is that apart from you, there are other individuals who also took over from you, who also ended up officiating the purchasing of the equipment. Because you're saying you're only there for 1 year. Were you there for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years?
Literally 1.5 years.
1.5 years.
those are
So who took over from you? Because the auditor has queried the 3 financial years for the amount of 168, even before we get to the 500 million.
Yeah.
We're now trying to, first of all, clarify the 168.
Thank you. Thank you.
So who else was there after you?
There was Mudoka, Richard Mudoka.
Yes.
And also Mr. Mbindu was also part of.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, I would like to suggest as follows, that the 3 gentlemen be able to submit a report on their financials. And also, Governor, you have to look at your executive budget, because that is where this vote was, so that we can be able to follow through and then understand where the money was lost. Before now, Chairman, you lead us now into the next part of the 500 million in the corporation, so we can follow the money trail. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair, just one.
Yeah, I want us to exhaust with this witness, and then the next witness of interest is a former chairperson. And then from there, we can now move to EACC. I think we have spent a lot of time on this.
I usually prefer with the senator of the county that we are processing has got more attention. But witness, just help me, Justice here. Help me understand. Do you have a breakdown, just in terms of lump sum amounts, of how 168 million is spread over those 3 financial years? What was the entire 168 million spent in 2018, 2019? And for the avoidance of doubt, just turn to page 4. Page 4 of the response. You can get it. This is the response of the county by KICOTEC. Are you there? So I've got 2 very simple questions. If you don't answer them now, you can answer them in your correspondence. There is a financing support of 168 million. You can see it. Do you have breakdown of when that money was spent within those 3 years? Or do you think that all of them were spent in one financial year?
I do not have the breakdown, but given time we'll be able to provide. But the procurement for KICOTEC assets started in 2018-19. Then part of it was done in 2019-2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the first breakdown. And then in each corresponding years, in your best understanding, do you have a breakdown on the 3 votes that this correspondence is showing? Because I want us to live here in one agreement. Before you took...
Would you tell this committee, because you are the accounting officer then, Chairman, let the chief officer concentrate. Would you tell this committee if you had incurred any expenses in regards to legal fees or expenditures under any matters that arose?
On KICOTEC?
On your ministry. Did you have any legal expenditures for any legal matters that would have arisen?
Unless I confirm from the expenditures, I cannot tell now.
You are the accounting officer?
Yes, I'm accounting officer. That was 2019.
You don't remember any case that could have transpired?
I don't remember. And again, if there was any legal fee, I believe all the legal fee, if I'm not wrong, I need to confirm, all the legal fee was voted at one line for the whole county.
Okay, finally.
But I'll confirm, I can confirm that.
Okay. You are still a member of the board because of your position as chief officer. You are required to be there to give advisory as far as the running of the ministry is concerned and the KICOTEC element. True or false, you sat as a member of the board? I've seen in the witnesses that have come before this committee, we have one Brian Wambua. You worked with Brian Wambua?
Yes.
As a member of the board?
Yes.
Did he serve his term to the end?
No, I think he resigned. Yeah. I'm not sure.
You're not sure what happened. You worked closely with him. Did you fire Mr. Brian Wambua from the board?
I can't fire him because I'm not the appointing authority.
Are you aware if he was fired or not?
What I know is at one point he gave a resignation letter. He didn't give. That's the information I have. So I don't know.
At this point, Chair, I would request if one Brian would also tell the committee.
Wait.
I think, honorable members, you cannot, you are not the chair. I'm the chair. I'm the one to give directions. I said we are going to only engage 2 substantive witnesses on this matter. That is the gentleman who is on now and the chairperson. The chairperson of the board then.
Chair, that's why I'm saying through you.
I'm saying, you know, remember EACC is also investigating this matter. And after this, they're going to give us a report. So we cannot exhaust everything in today's meeting. We are already past 2 p.m. now.
Just on a point of order.
Yes.
I think maybe it would be fair to allow our colleagues just to prosecute, but not to ask somebody to be called, just to prosecute to the end so that we know what she's trying to achieve.
Yeah.
I think
you can proceed and prosecute your matter to the end, but don't call in additional witnesses, because I'm seeing we are going to spend a whole day here, because this matter is
just on that ruling, Chair.
very complicated.
It's fine. It's fine. Let members ventilate. But at the end of the day, you will be the final authority on who comes and who does not come. So if a member feels that somebody needs to be called, they can say, Chair, call so and so. At the end of the day, you will make the decision of who is coming and not coming. So I don't think it would be fair then to require of members not to ask certain people to come, because they are not directing, they're just suggesting. But just on that ruling.
Okay, because
Chair, not finished, and actually, if you are
I will allow you to prosecute your matter to the end, and even allow Brian to say something.
Thank you, Chair.
In regards to the point that you are raising.
Asante.
But
And
just
thank you,
members, just note
Senator
that,
Wambua, for that,
time-
because I've even said through you, Chair, you understand, such that I would want to get a clarity, which is very beneficial to this committee. And as much as EACC is here, the matter of KICOTEC is a national matter now. All in all, I would want if you would allow Brian to tell us, just very briefly in 2-3 minutes, why he chose to resign. Because it's a very unique scenario. He seems to be the only member of the board who took a very different decision, and Brian chose to resign, which brings curiosity. Why did Brian decide to resign?
I will allow, you know, I'm giving you flexibility because I know you came from Kitui. So you may be knowing something that we don't know. So Brian, start by taking the oath. Clerk.
I, Brian Charles Wambua, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this committee in respect to the matters before the committee shall be truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Aya, can you respond to the issues raised by Senator by telling us whether you are fired or resigned voluntarily?
Thank you, Chair.
And under what circumstances?
I did not resign, although I had contemplated to do so, but my appointment was illegally terminated. The reasons I've never gotten even to date.
Excuse me, can you go through the other way? Go through the other way.
You can just briefly tell us, I was appointed on this year, this gazettement, I worked like this, I contemplated because of ABC. Just quickly.
I was appointed in February 2020. 2020. I served until July 2022. That's when I realized in our WhatsApp group, the chairman had shared that my appointment was revoked. I was not given a reason.
Because what about at that time? Be complete. The chairman so and so.
Okay,
Give full
chairman, our
names.
chairman, former chairman Patrick Ngole Ombua, shared in our WhatsApp group a script that there's a gazettement and my appointment has been revoked. That's how I learned even my termination of service. Then thereafter, I went to the court. Then Waziri reached me through a lawyer. Waziri, CCM Waziri was Esther Kilonzi, who reached me through a lawyer. I found that she agreed that she was wrong, I was right, so I forgive her, and I left the board. That's how I left the board.
What made you contemplate to resign? What were these?
Because what you are saying borders criminality. Because when you say it's a complex matrix. So ESCC, have you completed the investigation of this KICOTEC, and where does the file stands now? As you know, I mean,
solved as a board in the absence of the CEO, the CEO, the finance manager, who is also, this is a commercial entity, should take over as acting CEO. How letter that we should allow Khalid Mubea to act as the CEO. I think that's where the problem came in. Then these matters were being prosecuted at committee level, whereby the CCM, CCM trade, Madam Minister Kilon stopped through our subtext, stopped them, and it was not the best time to resign, although that is the time I had contemplated resigning, but I asked myself that position. So I kept on fighting until such a time when
you fought for things to be done.
Esther Kilonzi.
Okay.
And also the accounting secretary. You can see the accounting secretary is writing a letter appointing to us. And the board is the one who should hire the CEO.
Yes.
Then and those powers, I may be wrong, they are not transferable, isn't it?
Yes.
So if they are not transferable, how can you write a letter to us appointing a certain individual from a department of the executive as a governor to come and run KICOTEC? I mean, when you oppose, are you not within your mandate? Okay. True you are. So those are kind of things that we could not. This board, we are talking about the board here. It's a board that took 6 months to be inducted. The autonomy we are talking about here, there was no autonomy. Where is the autonomy? Mm-hmm. So we kept fighting as a board. I know that a lot of things will be handed to the board, but there was a lot.
Just
and
finally,
we kept on fighting.
Okay. Just finally, as you sit, maybe another member has. Did you, that particular duration as you worked as members of the board, did you question the one Georgina Musembe on the cash withdrawals as a board member?
Thank you, Senator. When the board came in, we find nothing in terms of even personnel. So the first board meeting, I have the evidence, yes. The first board meeting, we asked on our formative stages that the executive to give us at least, the top personnel, the management, so that as you group as a board, we can recruit ours. So we are relying on the management that were appointed by the executive through the CCM, the CEO, the finance manager, the human resource manager, and other managers, a procurement manager, that kind of line. So at that point, the financial statement we are talking about here, we could not, because the person who was handling the financial statement was occupied in other areas. So he could not give us the financial statement on time. As a board, within the wisdom of the board, we hired somebody, O&M Ngovo, to come and assist these financial statements. So you can see it was on formative stages, whereby people like the chief officer, trade, that's why we appointed him as a signatory, because there's a lot to release from the government to KICOTEC, with the aim of when all things are settled to KICOTEC side, then now we can have our own team.
So you did not question the withdrawals by Georgina?
We questioned the withdrawal.
What did she say?
And the withdrawal came this way. The board had said that we had resolved. We will be approving payments on a particular schedule, which you usually gave her. She will present. I'm lucky because I sat in the finance committee. So she will bring the schedule, then you approve. But the issue of withdrawal, the cash money, 500, that's to me is new. It's new because at the end of the day, the financial statements, this is what we pay the cash flows, this is what the expenses, this, all of them, they are in one bucket. There are no specific that you can remove this or this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Senator Wambua, the last question, then we move to the next witness.
So, Chair, I will go back to Siongela. The evidence by the chairperson of the Siongela Youth Polytechnic to this point stands unchallenged. So maybe somebody will challenge it, but to this point, it stands unchallenged. I want to ask the former Chief Officer, Macau, do you still insist? Chair, if the number does not engage you,
Proceed.
a serious issue.
Proceed.
So, Chair, I'm asking the former Chief Officer whether he still insists on record and under oath that the land on which KICOTEC stands today belongs to the county government of Kitui.
Senator, through the chair, sorry. From the account of the Siongela team, Siongela Polytechnic team, the land belonged to them, to Siongela, not the county government. That the ownership of land is the name that appears on the title. And the title of the land that where KICOTEC sits reads Siongela Polytechnic.
Don't be smart with me, Macau. I'm just asking, because you had said initially that the land belongs to the county government of Kitui. I'm asking whether you still maintain that position. And don't take this thing personal. It's not about you and me. We just want to know what happened, because there are other questions that will follow. Don't take it personal. There's nothing personal here. So it's now your record that the land does not belong to the county government of Kitui. It belongs to Siongela Youth Polytechnic.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, on 4th of December 2019, confirm to this Senate committee that on that date, you are the Chief Officer, Ministry of Trade. Go on record.
Yes, I was.
Thank you. Now, in your earlier statement, you said you were not aware of any dispute of land between the county government of Kitui, the executive, and the Siongela Youth Polytechnic. Is that still your position on record and under oath?
Yes, it is still my point.
So, if I say to you that, respectively, but then your response is a clear demonstration of the level of incompetence that informed the county government of Kitui then that a chief officer in a department does not know that there is a dispute over land on a project where the department where he is a chief officer has put in hundreds of millions of public money. Would I be right to say that?
No, you'll not be right.
Okay.
Because, as you said, the public participation was done. And
so we'll get
process,
there.
Yes,
we'll get there.
That's okay.
We'll get there. So, Chair, with that question, see you on the line of capacity, because capacity is also an important one. You have a point of order, you can
join her. And you're still prosecuting. Perhaps through the chair and through the senator now. When did the witness become aware of the dispute of land between, or did he ever come, like, when did you realize that there's a dispute of land between Siongela and the county and KICOTEC? Just wait, because from where I see it, it appears that you have just realized it from the account of the Siongela, I think, management today, right now. So I just want to know when that was established, but through the subsequent questions you might ask Senator.
Did you ever, are you actually even, as you speak now, do you know that there was ever a dispute between the Siongela Youth Polytechnic and the executive arm of the county government of Kitui?
Senator, to be honest, the issue of the dispute of KICOTEC and KICOTEC land and Siongela came to my attention after I left Trade, Ministry of Trade. I didn't know about it when I was there.
Okay, that's a good one. So, following on the issue of capacity, and I said, good people, we are just trying to get to the bottom of a very complex matter, and nobody should take this any personally. On the issue of the capacity of the officer, then let's serve the people of Kitui that time. You said your your CCM was one Philip Momo, yeah?
Yes.
How often did you consult with them on the operations of KICOTEC?
Frequently, on a daily basis mostly.
On a daily basis. Do you know the circumstances under which Momo left office?
Yes.
What happened?
He was impeached by the assembly.
Reason?
The reason was...
Chair, you are talking to the entire committee. We want to hear, so don't just whisper. Yeah.
Yeah, witness.
Your
answer should be chair.
Yes.
And then you answer. So that, because you are talking to the committee chaired by a chair.
Chair, I'm sorry about that. The Minister of Trade then, CCM, was one Philip Momo, was impeached by the county assembly. I don't know when the year was, I think, but by then it left the Ministry of Trade. And the reason why he was impeached was his papers were questionable.
So now, after the impeachment, did he go to KICOTEC to perform any duties in KICOTEC?
Not, Chair, not any incidents I'm aware of.
So, Chair, I will make two comments and then for me, I will be done. One, here is a chief officer for trade under which KICOTEC lies. He knows everything else, including shillings and cents on the money that went into KICOTEC, but he doesn't know that the institution has a problem in terms of land ownership with Siongela Youth Polytechnic. That's just a matter to note. And don't forget, Chair is doing it under oath. Secondly, Chair, This committee has been presented with two witnesses. The CEO of the Siongela Youth Polytechnic and a former board member, Mr. Brian, who I will say on record, Chair, are poster boys of how a rogue executive arm of the county government can manipulate, intimidate, and harass officers to perform duties outside of the law. Chair, and when we retreat, and if it pleases you, we will make available details of how actually KICOTEC, and that's where I began, KICOTEC, was fair and square, a special purpose vehicle whose only intention was to siphon money from the county government of Kitui. That, Chair, evidence, some of it is before you. You've heard of how people literally invaded land and took it away. What that lady did not tell you, and as I conclude, Chair, is that in fact there were very, very concerted efforts to close Siongela Youth Polytechnic and transfer all the students to Wanzoa Youth Polytechnic, which is more than 15 kilometers from Siongela, so that the gravy train could gain momentum. Chair, I submit.
Very well. As the chair, I also have a right to interrogate this witness as a final person before I move to ESCC. Mr. Witness, you indicated to this committee that the monies that used to come from the county government were through your department. Do you still hold that view?
Yes, Chair.
That all the monies that came to the department, came to this KICOTEC, were through your department?
Clarity. Maybe I need to clarify, Chair.
Yes.
There was no money that was transferred to KICOTEC, but the money that was allocated to the Ministry of Trade.
Yes.
Was
in terms of equipment,
yes,
and all that.
The money was allocated to the Ministry of Trade, which procured the items. Then they were transferred to KICOTEC when KICOTEC was formally gazetted and became an independent unit.
Right. Were you allocated COVID-19 money? And for what purpose?
Yes, there was some funds that were allocated to us by the county assembly and by the executive. And it was, I think it was 55 million shillings. And this money, according to the approved budget, we were supposed to procure some items for KICOTEC.
So what business did KICOTEC have with COVID-19? What were you manufacturing there?
KICOTEC started as a uniform production unit, and we were targeting schools, primary and secondary schools in the county, because most of the uniform was coming outside the county. Then when COVID broke out, KICOTEC transformed into production of PPEs, that is a face mask, scrubs, and some other items. We had orders from all over the country.
Which means you made quite a significant amount of money.
I can say so. There were some sellings that we made some sales, because we were doing the main source of income was even today I think is the Kenya Police, because we were making uniforms for them. We had Kenya Police, we had the Kakamega County.
Now I'm coming to Kenya Police. That I will come to. But committee members, I think this matter of COVID, we will need to look at it deeper.
Okay.
because as Senator Wambua said, this company, possibly, it was a conduit to steal money from the county. Now, tell us about the tenders you got from the national government.
Yeah.
The huge tenders you got from the national government.
Yeah.
And then proceed to tell us where the money is. Because we have looked at your financial performance, we don't seem to see that money.
What I remember is we had orders from the Ministry of Interior to produce chief's uniform, and I think DC's uniform, if I'm not wrong. We had orders from the Kenya Police. We had orders from Kakamega County, Kiambu County, Mombasa, and I'm not sure that we did for KWS. I think there's a time we had a negotiation with KWS. They all paid. I think there are some counties that has not, even Kisumu County we did. But Chair, I do not have the nitty-gritties of that information. If I knew this information would come up, I would have asked the management.
We have just read the law, your own law that talks about accountability.
Yes.
Where you and the chair and the board members, you are accountable. And we are asking you, you got big orders. You know how many chiefs are in this country? How many chiefs do you think we have in this country?
I don't know.
Assistant chiefs and the chiefs and all those people. There are many. And you are given an order to do for them their uniforms. So the question we are asking, where is that money? In your financial report, where is that money?
Chair, and on behalf of the board, the money, what was paid, can be traced to the account of KICOTEC and to the financial records of the KICOTEC. As we speak now, I do not have the nitty-gritties, but if it is needed, we can provide that information. It is in the office.
Honorable members, I think we will not proceed further. I will be giving directions on what we are going to do next. In fact, the other witness, the chairperson, you are not off the hook yet. We will have another session to grill you. But I want to make several directives. Number one, that we would like the county government to provide to this committee a complete certified bank statement, starting from the date when the accounts were open to present. Certified bank statement for the two bank accounts, the revenue account and the operational accounts. Because what has been provided here is only for 2 months. That is not adequate for members to interrogate. Number two, we would also want to be given the specific procurement plan for this KICOTEC, the relevant procurement documents, especially the ones procuring the equipments and the constructions and all that, and the relevant budgets which were approved by the county assembly. That should be provided to us. The budget for all the affected financial years from 2018 to 2021 to the period under which the amount of 168 million is covered. So that should be provided. Number three, the clerk has indicated to me that all the summons were sent out to all the people who are to appear, all the persons who are to appear before this committee, including the former governor and the board members and the Siongila. I have noted that all the other witnesses have come, except the former governor. So we are again going to issue fresh summons for her to appear before us. And on that day of appearance, Governor, we are going to excuse you. We will have the board members and the entire CEC team that was there. Because the CEC team that was there, they have been implicated in the takeover of the land. Governor, I think you will still have to come. Accompany your former colleague to come. The other directive is that all the other people who have been mentioned, including Georgina Musembi, the summons should be sent to Georgina Musembi, Henry Kimanzi, and Faith Mona to appear on the same day. Now, this is the second time we are issuing summons to the former governor to appear, and if she will not appear, the other consequences will follow. So those are the directives.
Just on a point of order.
Yes.
Just on a point of order. Legal, could you explain to this committee how the summons was served to all these members who came here, and also with the former governor, so that we make sure that whichever service you use, there's a certificate of service.
Chair, we have the affidavit of service. You could give me maybe just a few minutes to just extract it. It will give us the details as to how service was done.
Yeah, let us give a few minutes.
Yeah, point of order.
What is your point of order?
My point of order is that in the request for all the financial statements, Chair, may I also plead that we get list of all signatories to those accounts from inception to 2021, all signatories. If there's any changes, let that be clear. And with the resolution of mandate for all those signatories, there is resolution of mandate for each and every signatory, so that we are sure about the withdrawals that have been made.
The signatories, in fact, that was one of our earlier directives. I don't know whether those signatories appeared today. They are here. There were 2 signatories who were summoned to appear. They were all CECs. Are they here? CEOs?
Yeah, CEOs. I think you should be here. According to through you, Mr. Chairman, according to the Auditor General's report.
Yes.
FY 21-22. They questioned why the CEOs are the signatories of the accounts of the entity called KICOTEC. And they say that is against good corporate governance.
Yeah.
So it's the CEOs. And they need to say who they are. Because from what we were taught by the acting CEO, there are no signatories. I don't know whether that was true. Who are the signatories, in short?
I know the CEO was a signatory, the chief executive officer, and chief officers of trade, and chief officer of trade, and there must be another one, who is, and finance. But 2 were to sign. Those were the what do you call it?
Chair, I don't want to put pressure on this. I want that in the submissions that you're going to have in the ruling that you have made, Chair, that be made very clear. All signatories, if there is any changes, indicate those, and most importantly, resolutions with regards to those signatories.
So you will provide us that information, but those signatories should also appear before the committee.
Just
on that day.
Just on a point of order, I'd like to request through you, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if it's possible. Governor, I think you're in the mission to make sure that you right what was wrong and make sure we put everything together, correct? Now, I've just perused the bank statements here. There are a lot of cash withdrawals. There are transfers from KICOTEC, I don't know to where. May I request that you sit with your team, your finance team, and analyze the statements, and but also submit the statement to us. But you create a spreadsheet where you write all the withdrawals by Georgina and everybody else, and then all the other transfers, so that we can be able to make sense. So that when you come here, it is easy, even before we give it to our team, for us to be able to know how much was withdrawn, and then when we're interrogating Georgina, we will know what was the money for. And in terms of that, I've heard your CEO saying that the authority was two to sign. You know, I would like to know so that we are guided whether to also call the bank here, because if it is two to sign, to withdraw, we will need to know whether both of them withdrew or only one person withdrew, and how that worked.
Yeah, just a small follow-up on that, Chair. Through you, Mr. Wagi, around May of 2020, you were still a chief officer, right? May 2020? Were you a chief officer? Yes, you were. So you also a signatory to...
I was a signatory.
To the account, right? The Chair, I've just noticed that, without getting the details of it, just take note. On the 19th of May 2020, some 10 million was deposited in KICOTEC Operations account. And on the same day, several transfers from the same account. 1 million, 1.2, 1.1, 1.4. Just wondering.
Yeah, that ties into what Senator Ledamo was saying.
Yes.
I do not want us to reopen that because we dealt with it extensively.
Otherwise, we just take
They are going to give us a summary of cash withdrawals, how they withdrew money.
But
so now the legal, can you give us a status of the summons, affidavit of service?
Yes, Chair. I can confirm that the summons were served to Her Excellency, the former Governor, Honorable Charity Ngilu, through her number, which was duly received with double grade ticks, and this was done in line with the provisions of Order 5, Rule 22B of the Civil Procedure Amendment Rules of 2020. So yes, she was served.
So we can say she didn't honor our summons. So we are going to reissue fresh summons for her to appear before us. What's your point of order, Senator Miraj?
Another summon is a fine for not appearing and honoring the previous summon.
I'll go by what members decide.
No, Chair, let me just clarify that, and I think legal has to be here. The law under Section 19 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act gives that witness an opportunity. In fact, the law says that where a witness has been summoned and failed to appear, or appear but does not satisfy the committee, taking into consideration her status, the committee may post a file. So what I'm saying is that we have to do this thing correctly within the law. The witness has got to come here, and then once the witness is here, at that point is when we then determine to file. But if we do file now, when the witness is not here, it will not be fair. I don't know whether that's
in short, what it means.
No. Chair, we have
just
that
hold on. I think the best thing to do is to allow legal to read Section 19 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act.
Chair, the legal will guide, but we also have contributions to make. The legal will guide.
Just hold on.
You cannot find a witness if they are not here.
Just give the legal an opportunity, and then I will give you an opportunity. Let's start with the legal, please.
Yeah, I'm a vice chair of a committee too. So Senator Ledama Olekina should not assume that we are not well conversant with the standing orders.
I want us to be systematic.
They are well conversant.
Let the legal read,
I'm
and then
also
I'll
a
give you
vice
an
chair.
opportunity.
No, it's not fair for him to assume
Chair, on a point of order.
No, Senator Ledama, you should not
This has
assume.
got nothing to do with
We are all
my
members
colleague
of this committee.
being a vice chair of another committee. This has got to do with procedure.
Legal proceed.
So
But
can you
Chair,
please read the procedure?
Chair, I have a point of order.
Yes.
Just allow me a point of order. You know, Chair, we were doing very well. I don't know what has happened. We are doing extremely well. Let members ventilate. I don't know why this thing has become such a big problem to us as members. Let me ventilate.
Let me guide you.
Then
Let me
people
guide you.
will give direction. Because,
Okay, let me guide you.
I want to react to what Senator Olekina has said.
Let me guide you.
On the matter of at what point do fines set in,
yes,
and at what point they don't set in.
Okay,
Chair.
understood. What I want us to do, let the legal give us all the options available, and then we can now discuss which option to go for. Just allow the legal to read out. Yeah.
Chair, through the chair, section 19, if I may. Procedure if witness fails to appear. Subsection 1, where a witness summoned does not appear or appears but fails to satisfy the relevant House of Parliament or committee, the relevant House or committee may impose upon the witness such fine not exceeding 500,000 shillings, having regard to the witness's condition in life and all the circumstances of the case. 2, a person may pay the fine under subsection 1 to the clerk of the relevant House. And 3, Parliament or its committee may order the arrest of a person who fails to honor a summons.
Yeah. Now, Senator Wambua, you can
listen to me. You know, and I don't know why my very good friend, my brother, Senator Ledama Olekina, who is a ranking member in this House and a leader in the House, would want to take us in that direction, because he knows very well that there is precedence. In the last Parliament, on the same matter of the governor of Kitui County, she was fined for non-appearance under a summon. And you know, this is the way it goes. You are summoned, you are invited, you don't come, you are summoned, you don't appear, and then there is a consequence for non-appearance on account of a summon. What I'm hearing you saying is, now we will summon her again, and then if she doesn't appear on the second summon, there will be consequences. Are there no consequences for the initial non-appearance under summon? We did it before. We find, I'm not saying we should now. There's a precedent. If this committee decides they cannot do it,
If you
then
allow
they
me
just can't do it.
Just to clarify what I said, I actually read from my mind here, section of the law, as it says. There's nowhere in my statement did I say that the witness should not be fined. All I said is that the witness will be summoned, but we follow the procedures. When the witness is sitting across here, then we can be able to deal with the matter of why she never appeared. And then at that point, this committee may, not shall, may fine that individual. That is the law, it's not me. And I think the law has just been read.
Chair.
Senator Miraj, I know you are in the mood of fining, but proceed.
No, you can even arrest. It is within the powers and privileges. Because the former governor did not send any communication to say why she's not going to appear today. It could be an even different scenario if there was communication. But she just didn't communicate back. So finding her was on the lesser side of punishing her non-appearance to this committee. So if we were to advise you, Chair, we should be arresting because there is no excuse or communication of her not honoring our summon. So, Chair, you just go ahead and fine before we ask the IG to bring her here.
Senator Mutinda,
I'm happy that is coming from women leaders.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I don't want to be crucified by feeder.
My former governor of Kitui has set a bad precedent. This house, this committee needs to be respected. A current governor of Kitui has appeared before this committee twice on the same matter with no delay. And yet, the substantive witness, who is the former governor of Kitui, has refused to even give any response in regards to this particular summons. The law is very clear, powers and privilege is very clear, the legal has read it out. And I think as a committee, we go to 19.3, which says, if a witness does not appear, the committee has mandate to give direction. And we give direction and say, arrest the witness. Let her appear through arrest. Even those monies, we are not interested.
Legal?
Chair, maybe before let's hear what...
Before legal, Senator Eddie. Eddie?
Chair, you know this committee, President is set with common practice. What I am humbly varying is what my senior said, that you fine or you offer a punishment under that section of the law when the person is seated here. My question would be, if you offer 3-4 summons and the person doesn't appear, would you still go and summon? The answer is no, right? So the thing is, I think that unless there's clemency, which happens in any court, right? Because now we are sitting under 125. When you are offered a summon, you receive the summon. My understanding is this: if you don't show up, we fine you, and then we can be able to invite you again, right? We can choose not to go to
the mouth is 2 years. Well, the mouth is 2 years.
Yes.
You appear.
Yes.
Under summon, Chairman.
Yes.
Unless there is compelling reason why you cannot appear, which reason then you communicate in writing.
Exactly.
Here's a situation where there is no written.
So I'm talking about a situation where there was no communication, which then basically translates to a disregard to what the communication was. And that disregard is what is punished under that law. Okay? That disregard is not punished when you appear here, it's punished when you don't show up here. So that we can choose to offer another summon and not punish, but under the law, we should punish and then offer another summon, or go to the higher degree, which is arrest and appear here and still be
just on a
fined.
And you see, ultimately, it is not Senator Ladamo's Olikina way, which it has to be the committee way. And this committee does not, operate on its own. They are precedents. Yes. In the last parliament, and that is why it is always important to have a legacy report. We did, when I was sitting in the Committee of Public Accounts Investment Committee, which has got a similar mandate to this committee, we did find 2 governors when I was sitting there. The governor of Kwale, when he was summoned and never appeared. The second time when he received new summons, when he appeared, the first matter which had to be dealt with was, why did you fail? Why did you not appear? When he failed to satisfy the committee then fined him 200,000 shillings. Number 2, the former governor of Kitui, who is a subject of discussion here, suffered the same consequences. We invited her, she never appeared. When now we sent her new summons and she appeared, we first of all fined her for failing to, let me say, you will say how you remember. We fined her 500,000 shillings and she paid that money to the clerk. Now, it is no, yes, you'll have your say. My recommendation to this committee would be this, that we issue fresh summons for the former governor to appear. When the former governor appears, following the summons, if she appears, we first of all deal with the matter as to why she never appeared when she was summoned to appear with the rest of the team. At that point, we make a determination, having considered her position and her reasoning. That is my suggestion. Those are my 2 cents.
Chair.
And if I finish,
Members,
can I finish?
Members, order. We have one speaker on the floor. Can we allow?
Finish. Listen, you know, me. I don't really care which way it goes, but my suggestion would be very simple: that we issue fresh summons, let the witness appear. When the witness appear, we prosecute the matter as to why she never appeared. If we are not convinced, as per the law says, we fine the witness. Hypothetically, can I finish? Okay. If the witness does not appear, then we can use 2 and 3.
Which standing order is that? Which law are you using?
Honorable members, now, the chair, honorable members.
But Chair, Ledama asked.
Order. Honorable members, I'm giving you my mic, your mic for 1 minute, and then legal,
give me
give
one
us
minute,
the consequences, and then
Chair,
I will
give me
make
1
the
minute.
direction.
Chair, give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Chair.
After Eddie.
Chair, I do appreciate so much the previous precedents that was set by the previous houses. But in this committee, we have also summoned and fined. The precedents that we've set in this committee. For information, Senator Adama, we summoned the Senate, the governor for Nakuru, and we also fined the governor of Nakuru. But when she came here and explained herself, this committee had the power to lift off that fine. Okay? You see, when this is the whataboutism conversation that we're having, because when you say we issue fresh summon, what happens if that one is not honored? You will be in the same awkward situation discussing why we must only punish when she ever appears. I think that what happens in this case is that you issue fresh summon, yes, but you issue that fresh summon with a communication of a fine of 500,000. Okay, that fine can be lifted if she appears here and the communication from her side is satisfactory that I didn't come because of XYZ, which is what the law says there, that somebody could have had exceptional circumstances that is gone. Chair, I'm almost finishing. Yeah, so my proposal as a member of the committee is that 1, fine for lack of communication and not appearing. Number 2, issue fresh summon. If that summon is dishonored, despite the fine and fresh summon, then we go to part 3, whereby now you're seeking for arrest and being forced to come to the committee. That's how I understand it, because of
1
the
minute
that we have done.
for Senator Wambua.
Chair, I'll be very brief.
And then I will make a direction.
Chair, I'll be very brief. You know, this is a house of record. And again, respectively to Senator Ledama Olekina, you know as much as I do that the fine that was imposed on former Governor Charity Kalukingilo for non-appearance under summon was issued on the day that she did not appear. And you know that. And the answer can bear me out. I mean, the Secretary is here. In fact, Chair, I request, so that I'm borne out, I request that the next meeting, let the Secretariat produce the answer on how Governor Ngilo was fined 500,000 on the day she did not appear, and not on the day that she appeared to explain why she did not appear the first time. Secondly, Chair, and the last one. It's not like I'm pushing for this fine so that I don't know what happens. What I'm just doing, Chair, is to protect the institution of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. I'm a leader in that institution. And if we allow situations where the Senate, a committee of the Senate can issue a summon to a former public servant or anyone, and they just decide not to appear and not even communicate that they are not appearing, and you want to say now, we wait for them to come, then we can find them. Chair, there is a dignity that we must take care of this institution. My vote, if this was ever to go to a vote, is that issue fresh summons, but you fine on account of non-appearance under a summon. I thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, I think I will have to give direction here after consulting the legal and the clerk. You know, the consequence of not appearing is either fine or an order of arrest. Now, we are not ordering arrest today. We are fining 500,000 for not appearing today. And honorable members, we have gone through this precedent before. When the governor of Nakuru failed to appear before us, we summoned her, but we issued a fresh summon. And when she came on the second summon, she was able to explain very well, satisfactorily to us, why she was not able to come on the first summon. And she gave the document indicating that she was out of the country and she was hospitalized. So we had to vary the summons and withdraw that fine. So if the governor, former governor of Kitui, comes on the second summon and she is able to explain her absence satisfactorily, then the committee can make a decision. But for now, we are fining 500,000 shillings for non-appearance and issuing French summons on a date that the clerk is going to advise.
Chair,
so, honorable members, I don't want us to discuss
It's not
that.
discussing. I just want to request you to be decisive. You either fine and not have an opportunity to come back and discuss it, or you wait, she comes, and then you fine. You have to be decisive.
We are fined.
Okay.
We are fined 500,000. Let's go to the second agenda.
And offering a new summon.
And a new summon, we should go and should be delivered.
But Chair, I have to caution that under our standing orders, whatever the governor will be saying when she comes on a summon is not material to this conversation, because you cannot anticipate that debate then under our standing orders.
Very well.
Yeah.
Well guided. So, honorable members, for this particular meeting, we had also invited EACC to appear before us, and I see a big team from EACC. The Chief Executive Officer of EACC, Mr. Twalib Baraka, has written to us and is going to be represented by the Director, Field Services and Coordination, Mr. Jackson Mue, and is accompanied by the Regional Manager, EACC Lower Eastern, Jafet Mbaithalu. So I now give this opportunity to Mr. Jackson Mue to make a presentation from EACC, and you can advise this committee, because I know this investigation is active, whether we can proceed as currently constituted, or we can release some of the people to leave this room, including the members of the Fourth Estate and others.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Senators, the Governor Kitui, and all invited in this committee meeting. Like you have indicated, the matter I'm going to lay before this committee includes a matter which is currently active. And in the course of investigation by EACC, EACC has had interaction with some of the persons who are attending today's sessions. And therefore, Chair and honorable members, I will be requesting that while EACC is making the presentation, the officers from Kitui County Government not be in attendance because of the interactions that the Commission has had with them. Because while I will be presenting,
I may share some of the findings of the investigations which are currently ongoing, information which is a privilege to come to the Senate, but may not at this particular stage be right to share that information with the officers.
So
that's a request.
You're saying be specific, entire officers, including the governor?
I think it would be better.
Or
Chair, the investigations were sent from the previous administration to the current, and therefore I will be requesting they all excuse themselves.
The members of the county assembly?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so all members of the, including, we will give you 5 minutes and then you come in for further direction. 5 minutes, then you come back. Yeah.
Not very direct. Not very direct.
Yeah. Honorable members, let us respect the request of EACC. Okay, excuse me, please live in silence. Governor, you have a problem with...
Yeah, I thought we could be excused, and whatever directive may come out of the presentation by EACC can be communicated to us.
Yeah.
Because you know very well I had to sacrifice to be here. Today we had elections of the officials of Council of Governors. But I had to be here even now. I think they are almost over. But I wanted to not to come back.
Okay, so I think that's
me.
a fair request because this is just an internal report they are presenting to us for our purpose. So we can release the entire Kitui County to live, but I think...
a bit of a variation, sorry for interrupting, Chairman. Some of my members can come back.
No, they can't come back without you.
Okay, then...
Actually, we have exhausted the issues we had with you.
Yeah.
And we have given directions. Those directions are going to be put in writing and communicated to you.
Thank you.
So I think it's a fair request. We can release you and your entire team. But I will beg the EACC, allow members of the county assembly to sit in. But the entire county government and the board and the former board, you are released. Down so that we can begin.
So Jackson, you can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Senators, for encouraging us. Allow me to make this presentation on behalf of the EACC. This is a report on the status of investigation on the Kitui County Textile Center. And by way of introduction, Honorable Chair and members, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is a statutory body established under the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Act of 2011. The Act was enacted pursuant to the requirements under Article 79 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. The mandate of the Commission is to combat corruption and economic crimes in Kenya through law enforcement, prevention, public education, and the promotion of standards and practices of integrity, ethics, and anti-corruption. This is a report to the County Public Investment and Special Funds Committee in relation to a written request by the letter which was received by the Commission on the 30th of September 2024. The committee had considered the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of the Kitui County Textile Center for the financial years 2019, 2020, 2020, 2021, and 2021-2022, and the committee sought to be appraised by the EACC on any investigations being carried out by the Commission on the Kitui County Textile Center and the findings thereon. Honorable Chair and members, the Commission